Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Subject to change. While supplies last. Program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Ooh, it's hot out there. Feels just like summer. It's muggy. We're seeing partly cloudy skies, and we could see the first 90-degree day of the year. 67 overnight tonight. We'll start with some cloud cover on Saturday morning, but it will be hot again with a high of 89, and we'll likely hit 90 again on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies both days this weekend.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones this afternoon is down 2,051 points to 38,494.
Malawash out for a Knipple three. Give it to him. In on Knipple. Oh! Malawash! Sent that one to New York City. Lob it to the left. Proctor has a step on Phylon to the paint. Off the window and in. Cooper with 10 on the timer. Drifts to the right. Takes the screen. Goes inside. Scores. And he's fouled. Up top, Cooper Flag. He's been the story all season long. Goes to the deck. Keeps the dribble alive. In on Sears. Spins. Goes up. Good night.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Friday to you all. It's a hockey night in Carolina. Canes play tonight on the road. It's Final Four weekend. Duke playing Houston tomorrow. And if you need another reason to be excited, it's the start of the Drive right here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox producing the show. I'm Tim Donnelly, and let's dive in. We did this last Friday. How does Duke lose? That's a fun game to play. The reason why it's fun is because it's not an easy answer, right? It's one that takes thought. Most, if not all, of the other college basketball teams, you know, right? Well, if the opposing team does X, then Duke loses. It's not that easy. It's not that easy, and that's a credit to them. It's a credit to their versatility that we've been talking about so much. It's a credit to their willingness to change. That if you know, you slow the pace down, they can play that. If they speed it up, they can play that. If you want to go down low, they have big guys. You want to go out to the perimeter, they have shooters. You want to do this, you want to do that. They got a little bit of everything. And that's why they are the favorite to win the national championship of the 4 remaining teams. And that's why they have the newly minted Associated Press National Player of the Year in Cooper Flag. It's not exactly surprising news, but it was made official. He is the Player of the Year, according to the AP. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why he earned that award. Let's hear from the guy who has to coach against him. Kelvin Sampson, the head coach of Houston, gives praise to Cooper Flag.
And he's a 6'9" basketball player. He's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's a 6'9" and can play basketball. He can pass, he can score, he can shoot. He's the right kind of best player. You want your best player to be a guy that the other kids need to be in terms of effort and attitude. And I'm a big fan of his. I got to figure out how we can beat his team, but I'm a big fan of his.
Big fan. First of all, everything he just described about Cooper Flag, I think, is, in a weird way, he's embodied the team. That's how you describe Duke. Oh, he's a big player that can do a little bit of everything. Well, guess what Duke is? A gigantic team that can do a little bit of everything. Oh, you know, he's setting up his teammates. What's Duke about? The unselfishness, right? The team takes on the image of your coach and best player. If it takes on John Shire and Cooper Flag, you end up with this result. So instead of listing the billion ways that Duke could win, right? If Tyrese Proctor gets hot from 3, if Con Knipple scores 20+, if Cooper Flag it has 30, if Kaman Malawash catches 5 out, like if we just keep going on and on, there's a lot of ways they can win. How do they lose? And then we pay attention for that, right? It's by default. As long as this isn't happening, things are going all right. Well, let's start with what Houston brings to the table that Duke doesn't. Experience. And reps alongside each other. Duke and Houston played in the NCAA tournament last year. They played in the Sweet 16. Now they're matching up in the Final Four, and it's almost like no one is mentioning it. Do you know why? Because it's completely irrelevant because Duke is such a new team. You don't even go back and watch that film unless you're really interested in Tyrese Proctor if you're Houston. But for Houston, Juwan Roberts, Emmanuel Sharp, L.J. Cryer, Malik Wilson, these are all main characters from that game that are going to be main characters in this game. So there is an experience advantage for Houston. Now, that's not how they win, but it could be the source of how they win. What else does Houston bring to the table that Duke maybe doesn't? They've played a lot of close games recently. Already in the tournament, they've beaten Purdue by 2, and they played essentially a one-possession game down to the wire against Gonzaga in the round of 32. Duke really hasn't had a game that raised their pulse in the NCAA tournament. Arizona ended up being a 6-point game, but all they had to do was make free throws, and they had really good free throw shooters going to the free throw line, and that's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, that's as close as it came was that game.
You could go back to the UNC game in the ACC tournament, but I actually think because it's UNC, you put that in a box and it doesn't really relate to everything else. If you take out UNC, it's been a long time since Duke had their pulse raised. Meanwhile,
probably since they lost to Clemson.
Meanwhile, Houston, yeah, I mean, not a joke, but it's kind of funny when you say it out loud.
Yeah.
Houston, on the other hand, they got like 7 energy drinks and a little extra caffeine, and they're always raised. So they a little comfort in close games maybe if they can get there, right? If you can get to the final moments or you can get to the last 7 minutes and it's a one-possession game, Houston's probably thinking they're a little more comfortable. So here's my slingshot. First of all, I got to stop using that because Houston's not David versus Goliath. Houston is, if you look at the KenPom, like the 7th best team in the last 10 years.
They're a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Let's keep that in mind.
I understand they're like a 5-point dog on the books, but they're not a David versus Goliath here. So I shouldn't use slingshot as an analogy. I'll use like method. This would be my method to try to upset Duke if I were Houston. Pressure. Pressure, 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 right? If I let's be real, right? I talked about it yesterday. The average height of the core for Houston, little over 6'4". The average height for the core for Duke, almost 6'7.5". So what should you have? You should have a little bit quicker feet, right? You should have a little bit of low man wins. If there is a ball handler on the court, I am up in their grill if I'm Houston. Right? What's the answer if you force the ball out of Tyrese Proctor and Sion James' hands? They give it to Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg, 2 very capable ball handlers, but they're also bigger dudes. I am pressuring. I am forcing the refs to call hand checks. I am all the way up in their business. I am making it chaotic. I am trying to rattle Duke. Now you may say, well, Duke hasn't been rattled yet. That's true. They've stayed very, very calm, but they also haven't faced a defense as good as Houston. Do you know how I know that? Houston's the number 1 defense in the entire country. Duke's all the way down there at 4th. Houston's the number 1 defense in the entire country. Duke hasn't faced a defense like this. They might be able to handle it with flying colors. And you might even say it's likely, but I'm going to find out if I'm Houston. Right? And this is self-scout for Duke. Now that Duke knows, hey, this is what Houston's going to be doing, that's the most logical way to go, you have to be ready for it. If I'm Houston, I'm trying to make this, like I'm screaming, right? I'm trying to make this a haunted house for Duke. And Duke has to try to anticipate that, right? You walk around a corner in a haunted house, what are you doing? You're not walking up there and guard down, just boop, boop, boop. You're assuming you walk around a corner, there's going to be a guy with a chainsaw, right? You're assuming there's going to be something swinging from the ceiling. Duke has to anticipate it to be ready. So press break, and at times their kind of pressure break has been just get it to Cooper Flagg and let him dribble, which he's AP National Player of the Year. It's not a bad strategy, but be ready for a smaller, quicker guy to be able to keep their feet in front of him.
Houston, like you said, probably is going to press, but Arizona did that for basically 16 minutes in the second half against Duke just a couple of games ago. They should be ready for it.
Houston's better.
They are.
Houston's
they are,
just a better defense.
I mean, Arizona's no slouch either, but again, how you prepare and handle it. And there were some times and some moments that Duke, once they got across they actually got across half court, things kind of stalled out a little bit. How do they run their offensive sets after they get across the midline? Because there are times against Arizona when they really got into their offensive sets, it was like 15-16 on the clock as opposed to 22-23. And that really, I think, sputtered their offense a bit in the second half. That's something they need to be prepared for as well.
Kelvin Sampson, the head coach of Houston, talked about facing a younger team in Duke and how they've matured.
Those guys stopped being freshmen somewhere around Thanksgiving. By Christmas, hell, they might have been sophomores. Now they're just pros. So, but they have a good team. John and his staff's done an excellent job developing this team.
He's done a good job developing this team. I agree. And also, I wonder if it was a complete – it sounded like he was just grasping, like, oh, they stopped being freshmen around Thanksgiving. I wonder if that was just him grabbing it out of thin air or if that was absolutely intentional. Because Thanksgiving this past year was November 28th, and the Duke lost to Kansas, which was the end of the game kind of turnovers from the freshmen, November 26th. So from Thanksgiving on, they've lost one game. From Thanksgiving on, when the goings got tough, those freshmen have been able to handle it. If you look pre-Thanksgiving, they had the loss to Kentucky, a couple of turnovers in the final minute by Cooper Flagg. They had the loss to Kansas, turnover by Cooper Flagg, turnover by Con Knipple in the final minute. Since then, they haven't had those moments. If I'm Houston, I'm trying to find those moments as much as I possibly can. They may be prodigious freshmen, but they're still freshmen. They may not seem like freshmen, but technically they are still freshmen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Will continue looking at that game because it's a Final Four game featuring a triangle team. But also, there's a basketball game tonight. There's a basketball game tomorrow. There's a hockey game tonight. See, I'm already confused. Canes tonight at Detroit. Is it back to normal for the Canes after a chaotic game against Washington? Or are we going to see a whole bunch of strange and odd occurrences in Detroit? Stick around.
We're in the middle of the madness.
It came to Maluach to throw it down.
From the First Four to the national championship.
Good night. Cooper Flagg takes the lead to 18.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
For the Blue Devils, the Final Four is calling yet again.
The road to San Antonio is driven by Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, Fairway Green, and First Horizon Bank. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Pierce the Veil. I Can't Hear You World Tour 2025. Pierce the Veil, live in concert in Raleigh. With special guests, Health, Eka Vandal, and Like Roses. Live at Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Saturday, October 25th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse Concert Series.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled D-V-I-D-A. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
Kings win it clean. Blake on the backhand, and he scores! Oh, he put his hand in the cookie jar and came away with one. Another power play goal for Carolina. It's 5-1.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9. It's back, everybody, starting Monday. You can go ahead and listen to 99.9 The Fan every afternoon during this show. We call it The Drive. For your chance to see the Storm Surge, you know what I'm talking about, in person. It's our annual 10K playoff payout. Try your luck at winning a couple different ways. You can win playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Listen for the 10K playoff payout. And remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. So here's the deal. Canes play tonight. It's at Detroit. It's on the road. It's the first half of a back-to-back. Is it back to normal for the Canes or not? Right? Because let's be real, the game against Washington was not normal by any stretch. Is it back to normal or not? And I mean, to put it completely honest, for a team that's won 13 of their last 16 games, that's already clinched the playoffs with 8 games left, with that's correcting things that we were worried about, right? Worried about the power play. Now the power play is scoring more. Like, that's checking boxes. There are a lot more questions than you would expect, right? It's the resume says this is a team that you're just kind of biding your time and waiting for the postseason to start. But you look at it and Svetch, when is he going to play? Reportedly not going on the 4-game road swing now, but it's precautionary. How precautionary is it? Jordan Stahl, when will he play? It's a big question. Like, these aren't fourth liner, like, end of the bench. Like, these are contributors that you need to know whether they're going to be able to be depended on. We'll find out maybe some of this today. How is Pyotr Kochetkov going to play down the stretch? And regardless of how he plays or not, is he going to be depended on in the postseason, or have they already decided that it's Freddie's net? Are the Canes now all of a sudden tough guys that are gonna answer every opportunity to drop their gloves?
Bunch of goons, bunch of jerks again. As Graham Hill said it on Next Up yesterday morning, a bunch of jerks are back.
I mean, it's funny how the Canes are also a team that you can push around because they're not tough enough, and a dirty team that every time they do anything, they've always been dirty and they have a reputation of being dirty and tough. It can't be both. That's me complaining about everybody else talking about the Canes. I mean, for a team that has won 13 of 16, there's a lot of questions right now. Now, here's the crux of it all. That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? The questions aren't bad unless the answers are bad, right? Svetch, when will he play? Well, if they're giving him 4 games off as a pure precaution and the expectation is he'll be 100% the moment they step back in the Lenovo Center, that's not a problem at all. That's not bad. That's just getting your guy rested for the postseason. When will Jordan Stahl play? Well, if he's in his mid-30s, he's played a lot of hockey this year. Half of this is to keep him rested and ready for what hopefully is a long postseason run. That's a good answer to a question. Pyotr Kochetkov, how will he play? If he goes out and plays lights out tonight, then okay, you had a 3-game bad streak. Happens for goalies. And it's great that you got it out of the way prior to the postseason, because a 3-game stretch in the postseason that doesn't go well and you're at home watching. So there's are the Canes tough guys? I mean, that was half a joke, but they are tough, but I don't think they're ever going to be instigators. So there's questions, but it's the simple fact that there are questions about the team is not a bad thing. We have to wait and see what the answers are. We have to. It's what is it? Innocent until proven guilty. I don't know if that works in this case, but it's like, hey, you can be accused of whatever you want to be accused of. If you show us that the accusations are not true, then we're good. You can be accused of being a team that's banged up and wounded going into the postseason, but if you show us everybody's healthy, we're not going to worry about it. And it gives you an opportunity for a really cool night in a random early April game because who's the rookie getting called up? Justin Robidas?
Yeah,
Robidas, there you go. He gets to make his NHL debut. Called up, right? That's fun. Here's Rod Brindamore on what he knows about the youngster.
Well, what I know, he's a great kid, and he's kind of earned the call-up. That's kind of how we look at it. Had a good year. Did everything that they asked him to do down there, and I think we reward him with this call-up, and it's well-deserved.
How about that? That is cool. I that's one of the cooler deals, and I like that hockey makes it a big deal. I think hockey does a really good job of like celebrating hockey. I like that they make it a big deal when someone makes their NHL debut. Sometimes I think it's really like kind of stupid when the NHL has a rookie making their first called up from the practice. NFL has a rookie called up from the practice squad, and they're like, just treat it like any other game, man. We're going to find you some third downs in the second quarter, and we're going to get you in there. And they go in and make their first play, and nobody ever acknowledges that it's like their first play. Like, no, the NHL's like, no, go out there, skate your lap, right, and enjoy it, take it in.
Get that solo lap, yeah.
Yeah, like I like that, and makes a memory for a guy, right? Because there's a whole bunch of professional athletes out there, former professional athletes that just had their cup of coffee, and it's a highlight, right? Not everybody's going to go on to what is Brett Burns up to now? 916 consecutive games, something like that.
Something like that.
Not everybody's going to go on to that. So it'll be cool for Justin tonight. And then the other thing is they've clinched the playoffs. So all of these questions that I'm asking, all of these kind of mysteries that they're solving, we know through actions answers to questions much quicker when there's a ton at stake. If you have to win games down the final week to make it to the postseason, you find out how bad injuries really are. Because if they can go, they do go. Once you clinch the postseason, and I know you still want to make sure you have home ice in certain situations and you're not playing for nothing, but you do get much more conservative, right? Then it might not be like, hey, can you go? It's should they go, right? It's what's the risk reward here, right? Things like Andrei Svechnikov's injury. If Andrei Svechnikov is 75% and you've already clinched the postseason, you might go take the next 4 games off. We want you 100% for the important ones. If you're 2 games behind and fighting for a wild card spot, and Andrei Svechnikov is 75%, you might be going, well, let's get a lot of tape on there. What kind of brace are you wearing? And get on out there and make it work. So it's just, it shrouds it in mystery even more, even though you still want to be locked in going into the postseason, which is something Rod Brindamore talked about, right? Focusing on things day to day, even after they've now officially clinched the playoffs. This is what Brindamore sounded like.
It's tricky because you got to keep playing and doing it right. I think where we are in the standings, it's just a real tough, right? Are we really going to be able to move up? And certainly don't want to get caught. So it's about being a pro and trying to keep doing things right. That's all the focus. The wins, losses we always talk about kind of take care of themselves, and so we just need to focus on making sure we're continuing to do things the right way and keep trying to build.
keep trying to build. I don't doubt that they will be locked in because Rod Brittamore is their coach. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's, hey, you know what? This one, not as important, guys. Let's stay healthy. Let's have our orange slices at halftime.
It is interesting position for them because catching Washington to win the Metro that's going to be a tough task with so few games left in the point differential between the two. And you have a pretty wide gap between you and New Jersey for the second spot, so you pretty much said, like, all right, we're pretty much locked in to face New Jersey in the first round of the playoffs with home ice advantage. Yeah, it's kind of hard to stay motivated, I guess you can say. It's human nature. Mm-hmm. It's human nature to say, like, well, we're fine where we are. Don't really need to do a whole lot. Let's just, maintain until the playoffs get here.
It's mentally you want to stay locked in. Physically you want to be conservative, right? If guys are hurt, you want to make sure you're still 100% because you've earned the right to have 8 games with a clinch already in place. But it's the whole rest versus rust thing. You don't want to let yourself get sloppy because you had these 8 games.
And you're playing Detroit, who's on the outside looking in, but if they go on a hot streak to the end of the regular season, they might clinch that final wild card spot. Again, they're on the outside looking in. They got some work to do, but you're going to get their best effort tonight. 100%. Now, Boston, different situation tomorrow. They stink. But tonight, against Detroit, you're going to get their best because they're a team that is chasing something.
Do we want to do 30 seconds on the Boston Bruins?
I don't need 30 seconds. They suck. There it is, 3 seconds. Done.
Oh, that's funny. First time they've lost in like a decade, 10 straight games, something like that. Maybe even longer than that. It's not going well for the Boston squad. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is going well for the members of our Dean's List. We're going to tell you who and why earns their Dean's List recognition coming up next.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made, rebound. Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
Doesn't the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club give the best massages?
I've never felt so relaxed.
Thanks to this month's scratch-offs, this is our life now.
It's like winning again and again and again.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $150 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 to 3.8 to 9.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry, here to share why Bailey's is consistently voted best place to buy your diamond. First off, our amazing selection of diamonds is unparalleled. We also have hundreds of the most coveted engagement ring styles to fit any budget. You can also utilize our vast selection of loose diamond inventory and custom workshop to create your dream ring. And if that's not enough, we also offer an unprecedented lifetime diamond guarantee. I invite you to come see for yourself. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
Tired of wandering the aisles of those big box stores, struggling to find the help you need? At Home Outlet, we do things differently. First, we guarantee the lowest price on kitchens, baths, floors, and more. Find it cheaper somewhere else? We'll beat it by 10%. Second, we're employee owned. Yep, the folks helping you design your dream kitchen actually own the place. You're not just another customer to us. You're the customer. So why deal with the other stores? Break up with the big box and upgrade to Home Outlet. Find a location near you at homeoutlet.com.
What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you could choose one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon, with big bank reliability and small bank resolve. You get 160 years of financial strength and stability and an enduring commitment to personal service. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank. Visit firsthorizon.com/getitall.
Smart homes, virtual assistants, and AI. Imagine what the next 10 years will bring. At Lumos, we have. With 100% fiber internet built for the future, you're ready for whatever comes next. Plans start at $50 per month. Learn more at lumosfiber.com/next.
Up top, Cooper Flagg. He's been the story all season long. Goes to the deck, keeps the dribble alive. In on Sears, spins, goes up. Good night! Cooper Flagg takes the lead to 18 with just over 3 minutes to go.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What a beat. Just want to groove for a second on a Friday.
Drainville this weekend.
That is true.
I'll be there.
What day, are you going? What day?
Both.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, your tickets are good for both days. Well, last year, because we went to Phoenix last year with NC State, that I missed the first day.
Well, they were throwing like basketball highlights on stage and stuff, right?
They actually were showing the game.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like they had like a side big screen off to like the side. You can still hear all the music, but they were showing the games. We're doing the same thing tomorrow as well at Dix Park. If you're going to be there, you could still catch Duke.
There you go. If you're looking for some other events that our area offers that are pretty darn cool, you can celebrate Easter weekend at America's favorite car show. Text CAR, C-A-R, to 919-860-5326 right now, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Good Guys 10th Griots Garage at the NC State Fairgrounds, coming up in April 18th and 19th. Those are the dates, April 18th and 19th. All you have to do is text CAR, C-A-R, to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets. There you go. Now, at this moment, let's go ahead and put class in session. Beautiful. It is time for a little something we call the Dean's List. This is where we honor those in the college sports world that deserve a little extra praise, right? Maybe somebody that's gone under the radar a little bit. We take the time to make sure they are appropriately honored. I'll get us started. And by the way, you don't have to necessarily like the person you're honoring to acknowledge that what they're doing may help the people that you do like. So, my first goes to Pat Kelsey of Louisville. Louisville works their way in, and here is why. They have, at this moment, already committed out of the transfer portal, which really, I mean, the carousel's been spinning, but it hasn't been spinning too long as of yet. Louisville has the number one combo guard in the portal. This all according to 247 Sports. Adrian Woolley. The number 3 combo guard in the entire country in the transfer portal, Ryan Conwell, and the number 3 shooting guard, Isaac McNeely. They're all committed to Louisville. That is how quickly your fortunes can change. And by the way, it's not like their fortunes were bad, but your fortunes can change a little bit in this way. 3 completely new players, and you could argue they have the best backcourt in the entire country next year. 3 players that were not on their team, they did not have committed to coming out of high school. A week ago, they weren't sure if these guys were coming there. And they now have the best backcourt in the country, at least on paper. Now, why does that matter, right? We're not Louisville fans. Well, it matters because remember when UNC wanted to make a statement down the end of the year to get into the NCAA tournament? Remember when NC State's season was waning and falling apart there, and it felt like they needed a big win to turn their season, and the ACC said, well, you could beat Duke. That's all we got, right? Because it was just a down year. Boom. If Louisville levels up, it's a big net ranking win opportunity. It's a big quad one opportunity, and it's a momentum-changing win opportunity for the schools that you do care about. You want to play in a conference with good teams. You want to beat them, but you want them to be good. So credit to Louisville and credit to Louisville's coach, Pat Kelsey. Do you have one, Dennis, that you'd like to add?
Couple.
All right, go ahead.
Earlier this week, Josh Hogue, NC State baseball, went 4 for 5 in a win against UNCG.
There you go.
Couple doubles, couple RBIs, 4 or 5 in a baseball game.
I was going to say 4 or 5, couple RBIs. It's like, yeah, well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
enough hits. Somebody's going to come around to score.
Solid day. But also, you might get this one. Cooper Flagg, AP Player of the Year. I mean, that's as easy as it gets, right?
Yeah, I mean, not exactly under the radar, but I still. This is the crazy part. I remember I used to make this argument, and whatever. When Steph Curry went back-to-back MVPs, my argument was the second MVP year, I think he also should have been most improved. Because it was like he got that much better from an MVP. The second year was so improved. I think he should have been most improved. I think Cooper Flagg is National Player of the Year. I think he's ACC Player of the Year. He's Rookie of the Year. He's All-American. I think he still might be a little underrated. That's how crazy it is. I know you don't want to hear it because he gets enough praise, but I still think he might be a little underrated, which is just absurd because he's not a scorer. He's not he's not just a scorer. He's not out there, doing the J.J. Redick, Adam Morrison thing. He's impacting the game in different ways.
Yeah, there are aspects to his game that get overlooked.
Speaking of scorers in college, next Dean's List member, the fantastic Delaware Blue Hen legend, Elena Della, Donne, two-time WNBA MVP.
She's a pro.
Well, I'm acknowledging the Delaware aspect of her career.
Oh, her volleyball career?
She was very good at volleyball.
Yeah.
Just for a year because she had to sit out basketball because this was pre-transfer portal, and she went to UConn for like a week before transferring back home to Delaware. So she sat out her freshman year. Either way, I was a student reporter covering the women's basketball team at the University of Delaware when Elena Della Donne was her the GOAT. Brittany Griner was playing. I'm telling you, Elena's the best women's basketball player in the country that year. It's unbelievable. I'll give you just one. I've got stories because I was there for it. Her freshman year, you want to talk about college go bananas games? Delaware, not a women's basketball powerhouse, playing James Madison on the road. She put up a cool 54. She scored 54 in a single game as a freshman in college. I remember as a Delaware, it spread through the campus, and everyone was like, hey, that girl that decided to come here after going to UConn for a couple weeks, we might be up for something here. Took 28 shots, 7 of 8 from 3. Shout out to Delaware. And my final Dean's List member, NC State Athletic Director Boo Corrigan. Here's why. I'm okay with people making mistakes, right? I understand everybody's going to do it. What I get frustrated with is when you make the same mistake twice, right? If you make a mistake, learn from it. Don't let it happen again. The details for Will Wade's contract came out. Will Wade, the new head coach for NC State. The nuts and bolts of it are 6 years, $17.25 million. Again, the contract was released to first place I saw was Pac Pride. Wade is set to make $2.5 million base his first year, with obviously a bunch of incentives for winning, ACC, NCAA tournament games, all that. Here's the part that I was like, all right, way to go. There are no automatic extensions built into his deal like Kevin Keats had.
Interesting.
Because remember, Kevin Keats was job security up in the air. Then they go on this magical run, and suddenly there were these contract extension automatics, right? You win an ACC tournament, you automatically get extra years. You make it to a Final Four, you automatically get extra years. And then this year they're going like, wish those weren't there. Probably cost them a bunch of money to move on from Kevin Keatts when they did. So now Will Wade, no automatic extensions. He has bonuses and things, but nothing that triggers like future. So if there's a magical, some would say fluky run, that doesn't impact the decisions you can make down the stretch. Also, interesting part of this, and I think it's smart by both Will Wade and Boo Corrigan, who I assume were in the negotiations for this, the GM contract and the assistant coach contracts that we've been made aware of, 2-year deals. Which, to me, shows the urgency of how quickly they need to turn things around, right? Like, hey, Will Wade is going, if we don't have this thing figured out quick, I'll get new guys in here to help me. 2 years is not a ton of job security in the coaching world. As if there's ever job security in the coaching world. You bounce around quite a bit. Those details, though, they are fairly interesting. And yes, Will Wade is making less than Kevin Keatts did his last year. That's got to make NC State fans feel all right.
And they're probably putting all that money towards the NIL.
They better be. There you go. Class dismissed. But we are going to stay in the college sports world here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Looking towards the Final Four. I do want to talk a bit about Auburn and Florida, right? The other side of the bracket playing for a chance in the national championship game. But I do want to bring up just a different aspect of one of the most, right, for some reason going into events like this, certain statistics, certain, not even like certain fun facts, just information gets passed around a lot. And right now, ahead of the Duke-Houston game, one of the go-to, like, it's in every group chat, everybody's tweeting out the same fact and getting a bunch of likes, is the head coach of Houston, Kelvin Sampson, got his first head coach job in 1981, and John Shire was born in 1987. It's just being passed around as kind of, this old, wizened, grizzled coach up against this young, upstart Duke guy, right? And it's being passed around, and honestly, I don't think that is the story, right? Because I bet if you went back and asked Kelvin Sampson when he was 37 or however old Shire is, he would have felt like he was ready to coach in that level, right? It's almost like when you're in high school, if you're a freshman and you have like a buddy that's a senior, they feel so old, right? It's like, oh my goodness, you can drive. Oh, this is crazy. Look at you. You're an adult. But then when you get your first job out of college, you might be 23 years old and your cubicle mate might be like 57, and you guys can be best friends. You guys can eat lunch together and hang out and share stories. It's not as weird. The difference between John Shire and Kelvin Sampson in age is just age, right? You're both coaches. See things differently, have things differently, see the game differently. I don't think age is the reason why. Maybe your influences and what you grew up with, but I don't think that's the story. I think the story is age of players. You want to hear a wild fact that I just spent a commercial looking up? Juwan Roberts plays for Houston. Okay, but if there's a clip going viral where he's just said, when we turn up the defensive pressure, it's gonna be a different story, right? He's talking a little trash. You want to know a fun fact about Roberts? He started his career with Baylor, transferred from Baylor to Houston, right? Transferring, that's not unusual anymore. But his freshman year at Baylor, they won the national championship. So he has, and he wasn't a main contributor, but he got in games. Like he was on the team. Not just a mascot. You want to know what Cooper Flagg was doing the year that Roberts won his national championship with Baylor? He was in 8th grade. Eighth grade. Pre-algebra, maybe, is what he was doing. Not even algebra, pre-algebra. Right? He was still in classes like social studies. When not AP U.S. history, he was in communication arts when Juwan Roberts was winning a national championship in college basketball. If there's an experience difference that matters, that's it. And that's not to say Cooper Flagg is at some massive disadvantage, because obviously he's prodigious in his talent and he has other things working to him. But the difference to me between a 37-year-old coach and a 70-year-old coach is significantly less than the difference between a 17 or 18-year-old and a 24, 25-year-old. That's where I think the difference is if it's going to come into play. And yes, you could argue, Sion James, what was he doing at that time? Well, he was a freshman at Tulane. So he was, Mason Gillis was still playing probably at Purdue. So that, like, Duke has some guys that can match up with Roberts in experience, but they weren't playing for Baylor in a national championship game.
Oh, you got to think last year Mason Gillis was playing in a national championship game for Purdue.
Yep.
So, I mean, that experience is just as valuable, and he's a guy that was playing.
Sixth man of the year in the Big Ten. Again, I'm not saying Duke doesn't have it. I'm just saying I'd be much more concerned about a player having a significant age gap than I would a coach having a significant age gap. Because, I mean, Duke could have hired, Johnny Dawkins, right? They could have hired Chris Collins. They had options to go get the experienced guys. They thought whatever John Shire brought to the table exceeded that. So the advantages, are there just in different ways.
And let's not forget as well that John Shire was on the bench as an assistant coach just the final year of Coach K when they went to the Final Four. So he's been in those shoes, or at least experienced it from sitting on the bench, at least seen it and witnessed it.
I believe, and I'm gonna quick hit a search here just to make sure. I believe this is John Shire's 4th Final Four as a player or coach. So he's got some experience, and Kelvin Sampson, I don't even know if he's had that many in decades more. So do you want volume of experience or quality of experience? Might be the question there. I'm pointing out that I'm not going to, although it is a fun fact, I'm not going to put a lot of stake in what's being passed around often as one of the kind of impacts of this game. I don't anticipate Kelvin Sampson to coach circles around Shire, and I don't expect Shire to coach circles around Kelvin Sampson because he's out of touch or anything like that. I think it's going to be a really good game. I did want to talk Auburn versus Florida. But unfortunately, I opened my big old mouth and started talking too much about ages. So we're going to pivot here and bring on Lamar Mitchell, Director of Trading, MGM Resorts and BetMGM, to the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Lamar's joined the show in the past, and he will help us break down the gambling side of the Final Four. Lamar, thank you very much for joining us. We just talked about, or I said I wanted to talk about Auburn, Florida, so I'll let you do some of it, right? We are very in tune with the Duke-Houston matchup here in the Triangle in North Carolina. What are the betting trends on the other one, right? If we want to put a little money on it to make ourselves invested in the Auburn-Florida game, what are some of the trends taking place in that one?
Oh, you guys have a little program out there called Duke. I would have never, ever guessed it. Thanks for having me, guys. Right now in this Florida game here, it looks like right now the favorite, Florida, -2.5. But ticket count is coming in about a 2-to-1 ratio in favor of the Gators, and money is all Gators. It's just all Gators. It's about 10-to-1 so far for Gators.
Now, I'm assuming some of that has to do with the fact that we all watched John I. Broome, was until today in contention for AP Player of the Year. Obviously, Cooper Flagg won the award, but Broome the main contender. We saw him kind of get banged up in the elbow, and we don't know if he's right. If there was an announcement or we knew somehow that Broome was 100%, would that change anything you just said about that Auburn-Florida game?
I think it might. Obviously these teams know each other from their play in the SEC. But, when you have a player that's injured or we don't know exactly the extent of the injuries, it's definitely the betting patterns are different for guests when they kind of have an idea that one player, maybe the best player, isn't 100%.
Lamar Mitchell, Director of Trading, MGM Resorts and BetMGM, joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Lamar, there's like a mix of whining and excitement that this is a all number 1 seed Final Four. Who does that benefit? Are the people making out like bandits because we all love favorites and it's easy to pencil in the top seed, or are the books kind of the ones that are getting us because we bet too many long shots?
Well, I can tell you the first week of the tournament, the first couple of days were, because a lot of this tournament here, it's about a lot of Cinderellas and about a lot of underdogs coming through and making it through the Sweet 16. So the first couple of days, it was the public. It looked like a typical tournament. But once the favorites started coming through, and typically the public is almost always on the side of the favorite. It's public has been they've been celebrating the wins that they're getting at the time.
Now, speaking of favorites and speaking of that little program that you mentioned is in our area, Duke. For the Duke-Houston game, when Houston is such a grind you, slow down the game team, but Duke is a team that is amongst the best scorers in the country. How do you kind of settle on like a one? I was on your sports book earlier, 136.5 as the over under. When if we watch Duke, we're like, oh, they're gonna score 80 themselves. Like, how do you kind of lean, I guess, Houston's way for slowing that thing down?
Yeah, and that's the key that you said. Houston is, they're going to slow it down, and even though, like you mentioned, Duke can score points, like me playing a little sixth grader basketball. It's going to be a challenge of wills, and seeing that total there, we definitely think that Houston is strong enough where they can slow Duke along a little bit compared to what they normally score, because Houston's very comfortable playing in that pace.
Cooper Flagg, the way it's become, he's really famous, right? And he's spread to kind of the casual fans. When you look at the props, right, the points, the rebounds, the combos, and everything else, are his numbers maybe a bit skewed with the anticipation that the public and casual fans that just want to have something riding on it are going to lean towards Cooper Flagg overs just because he's the one they know?
Well, I'll tell you something about Cooper Flagg. I have a 7-year-old husky named Cooper, and this is not due to Cooper Flagg, but you're absolutely 100% right. People will definitely – he's a phenomenal player, and people, the casual fan and the hardened fan, they know how good this player is. And so, yeah, the numbers are skewed to the over because typically when you get bettors, most bettors aren't betting unders, so who wants to root for, we're going to root for under in a soccer match or even under in a football game. Most bettors, unless, football is different because it's play outside, but basketball, you're rooting for the players to go over. So, yeah, the numbers are skewed towards the over because we anticipate the betting public betting the overs.
The over's always alive, right? Your under can be cooked, but the over, man, I just need 7 overtimes and I'm still cooking.
Exactly.
Lamar Mitchell, Director of Trading, MGM Resorts, BetMGM. Lamar, this one is more of a my curiosity question. Like I said, I was on the BetMGM Sportsbook earlier today, and I think I've seen pretty much every bet somewhere along the way, right? I do dabble. What I hadn't seen is first 3 scores exact method was an option there. Things like 2-pointer, free throw, or 3-pointer, 2-pointer, 2-pointer for the first 3 scores of the game. Is that like a carnival game where it's just you pick one and you hope, or can I hammer out some Excel spreadsheets and actually predict some tendencies for some of these teams that they're more likely to be in games where there's 2 free throws and a 3-pointer as the first 3 scores?
It's all about the algorithm, and it's very hard to hammer out those. So you could dive deep into those, but it's really a lot of algorithms into these type of propositions like that. When you're looking at just a regular player prop, where you can say, yeah, this is what the guy normally does, but now you're talking about baskets and how the baskets are scored or what's going to happen 3 consecutive times. It's about algorithms, and it's great wagers, fantastic wagers. So you have to really look and say, hey, well, the odds I like on this, or I'm going to take it, or I'm not going to take it, and go from there.
All right, Lamar, before we let you go, we have to ask, do you have a favorite bet? Is there something you can give us that you might throw a couple shekels on?
Well, I do like Florida. I do like Auburn. I'm sorry, I do like Auburn plus the points. Even with a banged-up Broom, I think it's going to be Broom and Flagg in the championship, and then we'll see from there. So I'd be taking Auburn on the money line.
That'd be a really fun championship. Lamar, we appreciate you for joining us as always, and good luck this weekend with everything going on.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy the games and good luck.
Lamar Mitchell, Director of Trading, MGM Resorts and BetMGM. The sportsbook I was referring to, BetMGM Sportsbook. You can check it out there for the all of the props and everything else that we did go ahead and mention during that interview. And yeah, I'm not lying there. Broome versus Flag, Duke versus Auburn, that championship would be really fun. Duke versus Florida would be really fun. Don't get me wrong on that one also. And I'm not disrespecting Houston. They just play a less fun style of basketball. If it were UVA, I'd be saying the same thing.
Yep.
It's just not as aesthetically pleasing. And obviously for our area and for the ACC, Duke's got to make it happen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, wants to remind you once again that starting Monday, so our very next show, right? Today's Friday. Our next show is going to be Monday. Starting Monday, it's back. Listen to 99.9 The Fan every afternoon starting Monday during this show, The Drive, for your chance to see the Storm Surge in person. It's our annual 10K playoff payout. You get to try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck, and you get to take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Listen for the 10K playoff payout, and remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealers today. Coming up next, we have football at 4. Yesterday, we played the unfun version. We did worst case scenario for the Panthers' 8th overall pick. Today, best case scenario. And what challenges come with that? Next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If I could have made more in my last year in college than I did in my rookie year and still have that real-world freedom without real-world responsibility by staying in college, I'd be a dangerous man. I would have stayed in college and I would have been a dangerous man.
That's a blessing for me I didn't.
Unsportsmanlike.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit BodyArmorStateGames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Whew, it is warm and sticky out there. Partly cloudy skies this afternoon with a high of 90. With that 90, it'll be the first time this year. 67 overnight tonight. Some clouds to start with on Saturday morning, but we'll see a high near 90 on Saturday and again on Sunday with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. Late Sunday night into Monday, showers and thunderstorms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell down 2,244 points to 38,301.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4. Football at 4. Now, yesterday, we played a game of worst-case scenario for the Carolina Panthers. What if the first 7 picks in the NFL draft went as bad as they could go before the Panthers drafted 8th? That was fun. It was a good exercise. We hammered it out. Today, best-case scenario. What if you could, within like the realm of possibilities, right? They all drafted guys that were projected to go undrafted. And matter of fact, not only that, they wanted to trade up and give all their future first-round picks to the Panthers. Like, within the realm of legitimate plausibility, what is the best-case scenario?
They traded the first pick and got a future first themselves. How did it happen?
And also Justin Jefferson. I don't know how it happened.
It just all happened to be there.
No, within the realm of, like, plausibility, what is the best-case scenario for the Panthers sitting at 8? And then we'll talk about the challenges that come with that. Because it's first class problems, but there's some challenges. In our best case scenario, went through it. Dennis and I did this. Titans with the first pick took Cam Ward. Panthers don't need a quarterback, draft them all. Browns with the second pick took Shedeur Sanders. Panthers don't need a quarterback, keep pushing down good position players. Giants, Travis Hunter, New England, Abdul Carter. Just because I don't see a world where those two fall out of the top 4, so you kind of got to bite the bullet on that one. I have Jacksonville taking Armin Membu, offensive tackle. Again, a position, or by the way, like whoever's their number 1 tackle. Because the Panthers don't need one this year. Vegas goes Ashton Genty, which I actually think would be a little outside the realm of possibility, except for the fact that everybody is mock drafting him there. So running back at number 6 it is. Bijan Robinson went 8th, and there you go. But hey, if everybody says it's possible, I'll live in that world. Genty to Vegas. Jets then with the 7th pick, Will Campbell, offensive tackle. They need offensive line help. And by the way, you could flip Membu and Campbell. Just say picks 5 and 7 are offensive tackles. That leaves a unbelievable amount of options for the Panthers at number 8. None of those picks to me scream absolutely impossible, yet there's a ton of options that I didn't expect to be there available for the Panthers. In this scenario in real life, if best case scenario happens, right, and like I said, you have to prepare for every situation. If this happens, I would expect your phone to be ringing off the hook for trade-ups. Because, trading up to 5 is really, really expensive, and guys might not want to, or other teams might not want to do it for like a Mason Graham. Trading up to 8 might be possible, and if the Panthers see another option that can be available later, you might be able to get a haul. So this is one where I'm excited, right? Dennis, you've talked about, and I think we've all said it at some point, where like if this guy is available at 8, you sprint up and give the card.
Yeah, I'm stumbling up the stair. I'm running up to the podium. We're taking this guy. Just don't even wait for the commissioner.
Sometimes, like I actually think maybe you fill out the card and then you sit. And here's why. for, like Mason Graham is great. Don't get me wrong. Big fan. Watched him on film today.
Would love that guy.
Looks like a stud. Jalen Walker, the edge/linebacker from Georgia. Everybody talks about him like he's like half Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker, half Luke Kuechly. Like that's how he's being discussed. You could have your number one corner, whoever that is in the draft. If it's the Michigan guy, if it's the Texas guy, you got your number one corner. You have your number one pass catcher, tight end, wide receiver, I don't care. You have all these options. Like, instead of running up there, as good as all those options are, if somebody wants to be stupid and overpay, give them time to talk themselves into it. You got 15 minutes. You can wait until 14:59, and exaggerating. You can wait till 14:30 and not, because you're not like deliberating, right? You know who your guy is. You're just waiting for somebody to knock your socks off with a Godfather offer. And with great options like this, if whoever's picking 12th, who's actually Dallas, if Dallas wants to trade up and overpay for somebody, scoot on back. I just gave you 4 options. You'll have one of them available for you guaranteed at 12. So in best case scenario, get greedy. See if best case scenario can become unbelievably best case scenario. But if you are going to make the pick, those are the 4 options that I would go with. Mason Graham, defensive tackle, Michigan, who up until he weighed in at the combine at 296 instead of 304, he was almost a lock to go top 5. So if he's there at 8, be excited. Jalen Walker, who is as fast a riser right now as I can find. Everybody's singing glowing remarks, even Dave Canales, who said everybody we talked to at Georgia is telling us how awesome Jalen Walker is. You could have your number one corner, whoever that is, or your number one pass catcher, whoever that is. 4 great options for the Panthers. Again, it's best case scenario. There is joy and fear in having no wrong answers. The joy is, look at all these great options. The fear is we have to make a tough choice because there's 4 great options. Right? We've talked about how being at the end of the tier is the easiest place in the world. Right? If you have the second pick in a Greg Oden, Kevin Durant draft, that's the lucky spot, right? That was the Supersonics. Trailblazers had to make a choice. They could be wrong. Seahawks couldn't, the Supersonics couldn't. They just sat there and said, whichever one's there, we're going to take. And even if the guy is a bust, nobody is going to criticize us for it because everybody would have taken that player. So with these 4 available, you can be wrong. You can be wrong. I like Graham a lot. I said it. I like Walker a lot. I don't think you can go – in most drafts, I don't think you can go wrong if you get the best corner in the draft. It's a premium position, and you play 2 or 3 of them most downs. I just don't see how you can go wrong getting the best corner in a draft if you get it right on who the best corner is.
Sure.
I don't think Bryce Young would ever complain about getting a number 1 pass catcher.
No.
I don't think Dave Canales, your offensive-minded head coach, would ever look at your GM and go, really don't like what we did in the draft this year, if you walk away with the best pass catcher in the draft. So in a world of no wrong answers, you can be wrong because the opposite is, right? Say you take Jalen Walker and it proves that the tweenerness doesn't work out. Meanwhile, Mason Graham becomes a Hall of Famer. Somebody else's defense rises to number 1 in the league because they get another lockdown corner in the middle of the first round, and your passing game doesn't get going because you're depending on Adam Thielen to be a number 1 and he gets hurt because he's 35 years old. Like there's scariness here as well. Dennis, I have a feeling you would go. This is me predicting. You would go Mason Graham?
I think I would go Mason Graham. I think it's probably where I would go.
I'm acknowledging I think I'm overthinking this. I think I might go Jalen Walker.
If they did that, I wouldn't hate it. Like I really wouldn't. I'd be 100% okay with either.
This
honestly, flip a coin.
But
I like the idea of the defensive lineman that they have that they brought in via free agency, even last year and this year. Shai Tuttle's going to be gone after this year. A'Shawn Robinson's only got a year or 2 left on his contract. Bobby Brown's just a run defender. He can't get to the passer. Wharton is better fit for passing situations, but like Mason Graham and Derek Brown together could just collapse pockets on people and stuff the run nonstop all game.
Here's what I hate about my answer, right? This is me looking in the mirror and having a hard conversation. If you would have asked me right after the football season, Graham and Walker are there at number 8, I would go Mason Graham 100 times out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
And my philosophy is, I don't. If you put in the work, right? If you haven't watched someone on tape, then like if you haven't watched them play football, then obviously they're going to rise or fall in your rankings. But we've watched Georgia, we've watched Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
These teams aren't. This isn't a South Dakota State, diamond in the rough that we're exposing and learning about after the season ends. I don't like that my opinions change when we get to underwear Olympics time, or when we get to smokescreen season where insiders are letting us know whatever the leaks want us to know. So I don't like that Walker is passing Mason Graham in my mind, but I also acknowledge there has to be exceptions to every rule, right? If everybody at Georgia is telling Dave Canales, and they're being honest with him, that Jalen Walker is a thermostat rather than a thermometer, right? He raises the temperature in the room by choice because he's that kind of a leader. I think that's worth something. And that's nothing we would have known week 7 of the college football season when we were just watching them as football players. But is it dumb to to change up who you would draft with the 8th overall pick? A massive, massive asset worth a ton to your team because some guys sang praises about the guy who was within their program. Like Mason Graham to me, and I actually, right, the 296 versus 305, right? If he was 305 pounds, I think he's a top 5 pick and nobody's arguing with it.
I'll put 10 pounds on you.
I don't think it matters if you have Derek Brown. Because to overpower a guy who's 296, it's got to be at least like a guard and a center helping, right? And if you do that, that means that center's not helping on Derek Brown. Love it, right? Oh, you can go bully the 296 guy, which leaves Derek Brown on a one-on-one.
Yeah.
You're losing that battle. Meanwhile, if you double team Derek Brown, which you have to do because he's a giant and he's really good, Mason Graham is a one-on-one, and I don't care if you're 296 and a one-on-one. So I think the Panthers uniquely don't care about his weight, and if they wanted to, get a deal with Cookout or Bojangles or something and put an extra 10 pounds on him, they could. So that doesn't matter to me. I'm just looking at 2 players that I really like and trying to decipher which one gets the nod. And also acknowledge that once you decide out of those 2 who you want, somebody in the room is going to go, we could get the number 1 corner in the draft. Are we really debating on an undersized defensive tackle or a tweener linebacker? And the answer is going to be yes. And at some point, Bryce Young's probably going to stop by and go, Ted McMillan's like 6'4.5", and I'm just saying, I know I'm small, but I can throw the ball high. He can go get it. Like we can make this work. There's no wrong answers. There's no wrong answers during the draft if this happens. Best case scenario. There might be some massively wrong answers 5 years from now looking back, which is the scare. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the ladder challenge coming up. The Chattanooga train, choo-choo, chugga, Chattanooga, kept rolling for me last night. But before we do that, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Now's the time. Now's the time. If you're not going to do it now, you're going to miss it. You got to go to caniacsbike.com. Again, you have to go to caniacsbike.com. because that is where you enter and register to win the custom Caniacs motorcycle that is being given away by the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and your Carolina Hurricanes. 4th year in a row, they're giving the motorcycle away. This year, first time it's ever been custom built. The deadline is this Sunday, April 6th, to enter, so you got to do it now. You have to enter now at caniacsbike.com. You can't win unless you play. You got to play at caniacsbike.com. Custom-built motorcycle, one of one, painted in Cane's colors, Cane's logos, decals, everything on it. You'll see pictures of the bike right there on caniacsbike.com. White wall tires. I've seen it in person multiple times. It's gorgeous. I can't have it. You can. Go to caniacsbike.com to enter to win. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Donnelly 99.9 The Fan. We have some breaking news. Should we tease it? Should we tease it?
I think we should, yeah, a little bit.
UNC basketball has easily the biggest addition of their offseason, committed. We'll tell you who that is and what the impact will be on Hubert Davis and the squad coming up.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied, and Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made, rebound, game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Are you a small business owner who needs immediate cash flow? At Swish Funding, we have flexible funding options from $25,000 to $2 million. For the best rates and terms for your business, just one application to Swish Funding gives you access to our entire network of funders, with cash in your account in as little as 24 hours. To qualify, you must be in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000. Apply at swishradio.com and use code GROW. swishradio.com, code GROW.
Taxes was taxing. Now taxes is relaxing when you file for free.
I can file for free? TurboTax Free Edition. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple Form 1040 returns only. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free. I can file for free.
Now this is taxes. File for free with TurboTax Free Edition and get your maximum refund. No schedules except for earned income tax credit, child tax credit, and student loan interest. See if you qualify at turbotax.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I named my boat Sure Don't. Get it? The other day when my friend said, "Hey Larry, you want to head back in? It looks like it might rain." I said, "Sure don't." I guess they didn't get it because they didn't laugh.
Whatever you call your boat, protect it by insuring it with Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
You know what you deserve? The joy of a remote start. SoundStation and Security can install remote start systems in your car. Start your car from inside your house while you eat breakfast, and it's all toasty warm by the time you get inside. Or on those hot summer days that are sure to come, start your car and get the air conditioning running so you don't sweat. A remote start system is an awesome treat, and you can get it at SoundStation and Security with 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Teased it before the break. UNC has, according to Jonathan Givoni, Draft Express, first place I saw it, but it's been confirmed elsewhere. They have the biggest edition of their offseason. The reason why I use that word specifically, right, because you don't know if there's going to be bigger, better rated recruits to commit, is because this dude's a 7-footer. I don't think they'll find a bigger one physically than Henry Vasar. He has committed to North Carolina. If you don't know who that is, I'll give you the breakdown. He's the dude that dunked on Duke for Arizona in the NCAA tournament. Big, tall Estonian individual. This is, what did I say earlier? I don't mind if you make a mistake. I mind if you don't learn from the mistake. What was the mistake of UNC assembling talent last offseason?
No size?
No size, no rim protector, nobody to go down low and battle with the other team's bigs. They're perimeter players with Cadeau and Davis and Trimble. They're undersized, and they're bigs even. Once you get to the Van Allen Lubins and those guys, 6'8", 6'9", are not going to hold up against some of the other team's biggest dudes. Henry Vesar, 7-footer from Estonia. Averaged, had made 5 starts, but really came off the bench for Arizona this past year. Arizona was a good team. Shot almost 60% from the field, which 60% is very good. Over 1 block per game, 5 rebounds. He's a good player. Averaged almost 10 points per game also. He's a good player. He's a role player, but he's a good player. And it's a role that you need to have filled. You can find, and we've talked about this, you can find your superstars in a lot of ways, but the veteran dudes that do something that you absolutely need really, really well, that to me is where the top-end programs use the portal the best. Vesar is not gonna, break the press. He's not gonna dribble it. He's not gonna shoot the three. There's a lot of things he's not gonna do. But when you need somebody to protect the rim and rebound and get garbage points, he's gonna be there. What you're hoping is the 5-star Caleb Wilson, the upcoming freshman, who's I believe the highest rated power forward in the class.
Yeah, I think he is.
When you're putting together your front court, you're going to have Caleb Wilson and Henry Vesar next to each other. One is going to have the other's back defensively. One is going to have the other's back with the dirty work. And then the other is going to go try to be on SportsCenter, right? The other is going to go try to for the younger people, trend. It's going to go try to be trending. I was told by young people that in the top 10 on SportsCenter doesn't mean what it used to mean. It's disappointing.
It is.
They're like, oh, you mean like trending, like the best plays of the day. I was like, that hurts. But okay, fine. I'll start using that also. This is a very, very good front court for UNC. If you put Caleb Wilson out there every night, perhaps, depending on who decides to return, Drake Powell at the 3, who's not quite the size, right, 6'6", but springy. If you go Vesar, Wilson, Powell at the 5, the 4, and the 3, that is, we made a mistake last year. We didn't have the size. We couldn't play every style of basketball when other teams forced us to play the way they wanted to. But this year we will be able to. That is Hubert Davis making a true evaluation of what went wrong this year and fixing it. Not to mention that R.J. Davis won't be back, exhausted his eligibility. Elliot Cadeau won't be back. He hit the portal and has already committed to Michigan. So, it'd be difficult to find a 1 and a 2 that are smaller than R.J. Davis and Elliot Cadeau. This team is going to be just more impactful from a height and size perspective at almost every position going into next year. And if Van Allen Lubin stays around, right, because you never know with the portal, but if he stays around, you have a guy that put up 20 and 10 in multiple games down the stretch, ACC tournament games, that's like 6'8", 6'9", coming off the bench. That's a luxury. Oh, look, your freshman's a little out of sorts. Let's put Van Allen Lubin in there. Oh, look, Vesar picked up 2 quick fouls. All right, let's go to Van Allen. Like, that's fantastic. This is a big moment for UNC. And tell me it doesn't feel needed. Tell me it doesn't feel like the fan base needed something to celebrate.
100% needed for them.
They were halfway to talking themselves into Jonathan Powell, the kid from West Virginia, being like second team All ACC. they were ready. They just needed it. This is big. As far as like, don't take it from me, take it from the rankers. Right now on 247 Sports, Henry Vesar is the 19th best player in the portal that has entered into the portal this offseason, including guys that have already committed. He's the second best center in the portal. I will say not many guys identify as centers. There's some 6'11" power forwards, combo forwards out there, and I'm like, guess what you are, buddy? A center. But Vesar is good, and he fills a role that UNC absolutely needed to fill. A little bit more background here just quickly. He did play, let me get these years right. 3 years ago, he played off the bench as a freshman for Arizona. His what should have been sophomore year, he took a red shirt, didn't appear in any games. Then this past year, played in 37 games and started 5. He also has appeared for he's the youngest person to play in a FIBA qualifying event for the Estonian national team. So, I mean, maybe it's just a meme, but the whole Jokic thing where people are like, I don't know, man, going to play in Detroit against the Pistons, their fan base gets loud, and there's like a picture of a Serbian game where they have like cages around the fans and there's like fires in the fans, and he's just like, yeah, I think I'll be all right. Like anyone that plays professionally or for national teams in Europe, when they come to college basketball, I'm like, I feel like a student body's not really going to get to them, right? The chanting of like mild insults is not really going to affect them. So I don't know if that's true or not. Could just be a meme, but I kind of believe it. So UNC gets Henry Vasar, Arizona, 7-foot big man out of the transfer portal at a very, very much needed time. That's what I'm looking at. All right. Now I'm refreshing everything going. Is that all of the breaking news that we have?
Right?
Yes, I believe that's all the breaking news we have, which means we can quickly get to the ladder challenge. And there it is. Before we actually make our picks, though, remember, there is a Canes game tonight.
Yes. So
in less than 10 minutes, we'll be taking first goal scorer predictions with a potential Apex Racing Lab gift card on the line for 3 of you. So we'll open up the phone lines for Canes first goal scorer predictions. Start thinking about who you believe will score the first goal for the Canes tonight and in what period you think they will score it. We'll open up the phone lines in less than 10 minutes now. Ladder challenge. Dennis, you were in the lead going into yesterday. Did you win, and what are the details?
I did. I had Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning to get 2+ shots on goal yesterday at -500. He had 7 shots on goal. Nailed that one. He had
7?
He had
Goodness gracious.
5 in the first period. I was like, just go ahead and pay me out on this one. So I'm up to $15.89. Tonight, Canes, Wings, over 3.5 goals scored. -725, so I'll put me up at $18.08.
All right. I have to give a shout out to the Chattanooga men's basketball team.
Okay.
During my little ladder challenge run that I've been on, they've been fantastic. They've been underdogs in a whole bunch of NIT games. So, +3.5, +4, and +6 at times. All I've been doing is teasing down the spread as far as I possibly can. So if they're +3.5, I get them at +15.5, and it's still within our -500 to -1,000 ladder challenge requirements. And what do? They don't just cover; they win the games outright. Third straight time they've done it for me. They won the NIT outright last night in the NIT finals. I had them at +15.5. They won by 1. Granted, UC Irvine did. Did you see the end of the NIT? All right, I feel bad for whoever the guy is that missed it. Kind of a wide open layup to win it at the buzzer, and he short-armed it and bricked the layup. Forgot he could use backboard. It's a weird play. But it missed at the buzzer, so Chattanooga won outright. I didn't have to sweat it out because I wasn't actually rooting for them to win. I just needed them to cover 15.5. There it is. That's what we got going on. So they won. Turned my 12.95 into 14.47. Are you watching it right now? Oh, I thought you were looking. I was going to watch for your reaction to this dude missing a layup to win the NIT.
No,
sorry.
All
right, that's fine. 14.47 is what I have now. Did you make your bet for tonight already?
Yes, Canes and Red Wings +3.5 goals.
I'm going since it's a weekend. We can, obviously any bet over the weekend. I have Duke teased to +7.5. Duke is a 4.5, 5.5, depending where you're looking, favorite. I've teased them all the way back to a 7.5-point dog against Houston. It's -920. I think, and we'll go over this. I think Houston can win the game. They're not a slouch by any stretch, but if they do, I expect it to be 62-57. I definitely don't expect them to win by more than 7. Right, a 7-point difference in a Houston win is like a 50-point difference in most teams' win. It would genuinely leave me shocked if they win by 8 or more. So that'll turn my 14.47 into 16.04 as long as Duke doesn't lose by 8 or more. Bada boom, bada bang. 5 minutes until we need first goal score prediction, so let's break down that Duke-Houston game a little bit further. Here's my question for Duke. Are you going to do what you've done? Duke this year, I think, has been unbelievable at looking at teams and saying, how do you want this butt whooping? Right? Like, you want to, what style would you like to play? Would you like to get up and down and run? We'll do that. Would you like to get real physical and slow it down? We'll do that. Do you want to pick us up full court? Cool. Like how? What's your style? And then we'll beat you at that, which is a gangster move if we're being real. Right? It's pretty darn cool. When you get to say, you make all the rules, whatever you want, and we'll win. Houston is 358th in possessions per game. They slow it down. There are only 364 teams in the country. I keep coming back to this. They are the seventh slowest team in the country.
Think Virginia slow, people. That's basically what they are.
Virginia on a slow night slow.
Yeah.
I don't think Houston wants to get up and down. So Duke, I believe there's two options here, right? Either you look at them and you go, all right, you're the team that plays slow. Cool, we can do that, which is a gangster move. It's a flex, right? To say you're the best in the country at mucking games up and having it played in cement shoes. And we'll do that, and we'll beat you at your own game. The other thing that I think Duke can think of is going, you're the best in the country at slowing it down. Let's turn this treadmill up, right? Let's get it up here and let's run. Let's see if you want to come along with us, which Duke hasn't really done much of this year. John Shire talked about facing Houston and how unique they are and the challenges that the Cougars can go ahead and pose for Duke. This is what the head coach of Duke has to say. Went ahead and froze on him. So we'll have that coming for you in a second. There we go. It's back. Go ahead, Dennis.
Houston, no offense to our scout team. We have a great scout team. It's not something you can replicate. And so it's a combination of understanding what could or could not be there. At the same time, you don't want to make them out to be the boogeyman either. And you have to have confidence. We're a great offensive team. And I want us to be us. And in doing that, you're going to have some moments where you may go through a stretch you don't score. And the thing that's been consistent for us is our defense. So we can't let any offense impact our defense.
There you go. Can't let our impact. See here, Houston, this is the way I'm going to say it. Houston is better at the best things Houston does than anyone that Duke has faced this year is good at the best things they did. Right? That's what Houston's fastball, or I don't know if they're a curveball pitcher, whatever their best pitch is, they are better at that pitch than anyone's been at any pitch they've thrown at Duke this year. So if Duke goes into this game and wins 55-54, if Duke goes into this game and wins 47-44, if they go full Houston and win the game, they do the Houston thing better than Houston, then I don't see how anyone can argue against this team as one of the greatest of all times. Because they would have, run faster than the guy that wants to beat you in a race, and they would have punched harder than the guy that wants to punch you in a fist fight, and they would have out-offensed Alabama, who broke the record for threes the game before they played Duke, and they would have out-defensed Houston, who's the number one defense in the country all year. Like, if you can do that, then you throw your hands up and go, I don't get it. But I still think the way the most often way to win, the one that makes a win most likely, might be to look at Houston and go, I know what you're capable of. I know what we're capable of. Let's do the thing you don't want to do. And there's a good analogy in there somewhere. I'm going to have to find it. It's right in the tip of my tongue. And I can't find it quite yet. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for first goal scorer predictions. The way this works, we open up the phone lines, and we will do so right now. Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Open for you to call in and make your predictions for who will score the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes and in what period they will score it. If you get both of those two things right on the air when we take calls, then you will win a sweet Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. So call in now, 919-860-5326 with your first goal score predictions. 3 official contestants on air. If you don't get through on the call-in line, keep trying right now. But if you don't get through on the call-in line, you can always go to our YouTube live stream, 99.9 The Fan, waving to everybody out there. And if you go into the comments, you can comment who you think will score the first goal for the Canes. No prize on the line but bragging rights, which are pretty darn important. All we need is a name and a period. A player for the Canes and a period they will score it. We always appreciate more additions, right? If you want to say it's on the power play, if you want to say it's a one-timer, if you want to say it's a rebound or who gets the assist or shorthanded, we always do appreciate a few more details. While Dennis continues to gather those calls and the lines are filling up, the prize, some more details. It's an ultimate sim racing experience at Apex Racing Lab. Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Carey's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh. Visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com.
Just had a caller drop, so phone line just opened open.
You got a second lease on life here if you like the Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. I'll give you the number one more time to fill that empty slot, 919-860-5326. By the way, this is a secondary deal here. The analogy did pop into my head. I'm gonna bring it out later. It was going to annoy the heck out of me. 919-860-5326. Call in right now. We need one more caller. Again, a spot just opened up after we kind of started turning people away. 919-860-5326. So if you didn't get through, call in quickly right now.
We actually got some predictions online, by the way.
All right, go. We'll fire those up until one more caller calls in. Again, urgency, people.
Matt Morrison says Roslovic with the first, second, and third goals for the Canes today. He's calling a rosy hat trick. First goal coming in the first period, by the way.
All right, let's get these callers on, and if we only have two, because there's some breaking news that we want to talk about here.
More? Okay.
Yeah, and it's a transfer portal commitment to a different team in the Triangle. We'll get to that in a second, but first we have to get our first goal scorer predictions in here. So one last call, 919-860-5326. Call in if you're interested. Lewis and Raleigh, thank you for calling in. Who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
I'm going to go with Blake.
The rookie.
First, right off the power play, and we're going to let Taylor get the assist.
All right, Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall assist.
That's to Detroit.
All right. There you go. Love it. Go ahead and stay in line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. Brian in Holly Springs, you are up next. Brian, who scores the first goal for the Canes and in what period?
I'm going to go with Jarvis in the first. It's going to be 5-on-5 with a first assist from Aho.
All right. 5-on-5 assists. Well, I mean, that's a very popular pick based on the way Aho and Jarvis are playing together recently. So good pick. Stay in the line. Dennis will grab some info from you. And Kyle and Fuquay, you are the one that snuck in under the wire here. You get an extra chance because somebody else dropped. Kyle, who scores the first goal and in what period?
Well, I'm going to give you a little more detail, much to the Canes fans' chagrin. The first goal scored is Patrick Kane, probably within the first 7 minutes on Kochetkov. But then I agree with the Jarvis goal late in the first period to tie it 1-1.
All right. First of all, real funny.
Not how this works, Kyle.
You got to pick a Kane, and Jarvie in the first is already taken. You can't double up. So
I'm going to go with Taylor Hall.
All right. There you go. Taylor Hall in what period?
Also in the first.
All right. Taylor Hall in the first, Kyle. You can stay on the line, but, the way you joked, I'm not rooting for you. Appreciate you calling in, though. Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
So Lewis had Blake in the first, correct?
Lewis had Blake in the first, Brian had Jarvis in the first, and Kyle and Fuquay had Hall in the first. Dennis, before you grab that info quickly here, just so we can get to the next conversation, who do you have for your first goal scorer prediction?
My guy, Sean Walker, first period.
Do you feel bad that you didn't pick him?
Yes.
So now you're
down riding that wave.
I hate this with a fiery passion because I just said I don't want to root for Kyle. My prediction that I have written down here is Taylor Hall in the first. And I don't like changing it either, but I'm going to because I don't want to be on the same side as the guy that said Patrick Kane. So I'll go. Does anyone have Aho in the first? Aho in the first. Aho in the first because I don't want to think too hard about it, and it's going to be on the power play because the power play stays hot. Dennis, can you go ahead and fire up that breaking news for us? 247 Sports reporting that NC State has received a commitment out of the transfer portal from Kadir Copeland, former Syracuse guard, transferred to McNeese State, played a year at McNeese State under the brand new head coach of NC State, obviously, Will Wade, and he has now committed to NC State as well, following his coach. Now, this is a good pickup, right? Started 24 games for McNeese State, averaged just under 10 points, like 3.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1.5 steals. He is a talented veteran player, 6'6", brings some edge to the unit. The narrative and storylines around this one are, to me, more interesting than the basketball fit. Because Will Wade knows exactly what Kadir Copeland brings to the table. He just coached him for a year. Copeland helped him, get all the way to the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament for McNeese.
And he's been in the ACC.
That's the interesting part, is the relationship he's had with State in the past. Go back, and I'm sure it's in the highlights. Go back and watch Syracuse NC State ACC tournament 2 years ago, the year that State went on the run to the Final Four. Kadir Copeland, no love lost between him and State. State fans are probably right now, here's what I would do for some of you State burnerverse, right? The NC State burnerverse on Twitter, the people that say all the mean things and hide behind funny names and funny avatars that are going to want to be bragging about Kadir Copeland coming out of the portal. Go to advanced search on Twitter, search Copeland into all of your past tweets. And if there's anything that crosses a line with how mean you were to this dude, because he was talking a lot of trash towards the team you cared about, just delete those tweets now so nobody can go bring them up and wave them in your face. Because Copeland went from public enemy number one maybe for NC State, at least for 3 or 4 days. He was the most hated, to now a guy that you're going to be depending on to help instill the culture that Will Wade wants to win with in Raleigh. It's a fascinating deal. He was at Syracuse and then went to McNeese for a year. Now he's coming back to the ACC to play for State. But that commitment, again, according to 247 Sports, has come in favor of the Wolfpack. And we said that yesterday. As soon as he went into the portal, I think I said less than 24 hours. I think it was 24 and a half hours ago. So
basically,
it was a miss, but just I'm taking credit for it. Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have real bold predictions coming up, and if there's any more breaking news in the portal, we'll give you that as well. Stick around.
We're in the middle of the madness.
Out for a Knipple three. Give it to him.
From the first four to the national championship.
Maluach! Sent that one to New York City.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
For the Blue Devils, the Final Four is calling yet again.
The road to San Antonio is driven by WakeMed, Roofworks, Metro Elevator, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
At Bailey's, love not only sparkles, but it also gives back. Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey. Yes, we have high-quality certified diamonds that fit your budget. But did you know that when you say I do with an engagement ring from Bailey's, a donation is made to the food bank to help feed a local family of 4 for an entire month? Celebrate your love with Bailey's, where every diamond helps create a brighter future. Bailey's Fine Jewelry, voted the best place to buy your diamond.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain or just struggling with daily activities because of discomfort in your knees, back, or other parts of your body? Well, I've got great news. It's called DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, a solution that can help you get back to feeling like yourself again without the risks of invasive surgery or long-term prescription drug use. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness is a regenerative medicine clinic. Their innovative treatment options address the root cause of your pain to promote healing and prevent re-injury for long-lasting pain relief. If you have arthritis, joint pain, sports injuries, or other conditions, their highly trained medical providers will develop a cutting-edge treatment plan tailored just for you with little to no downtime. DaVita Med Spa and Wellness can get you back to doing the things you love. Call DaVita Med Spa and Wellness today, spelled DVIDA. Call 984-333-1313, 984-333-1313, 984-333-1313.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all 4 brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence, drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC on NC87 South in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Starting Monday, it is back, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to 99.9 The Fan every afternoon during The Drive, starting Monday, so our next show, for your chance to see the Storm Surge in person. It's our annual 10K playoff payout. Try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Listen for the 10K playoff payout, and remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. Before we get to real bold predictions, just a little wrap on some breaking news that's happened this afternoon. Henry Vasar, the 7-foot center from Arizona, the University of Arizona. He's actually from Estonia. Entered into the transfer portal a couple days ago. Earlier today, the reports emerged that he has committed to UNC. Feels like a direct response to how much they were hurt by a lack of size this past year.
It's interesting how we heard the connection between UNC and Visar the moment we saw that he was in the portal.
Yep, very quick. And rightfully so, because they wanted a decision fast, and they got there pretty quick. Also, just moments ago, Kadir Copeland, a McNeese State player from this past year, played for Will Wade, the new coach of NC State last year at McNeese State. He entered into the transfer portal yesterday. He is out of the transfer portal and committed to NC State as of this afternoon. So some news, some moving and shaking.
It's funny because yesterday when we saw that he went into the portal, we're like, well, this sounds like he's destined to go to NC State. But we even said when McNeese was in the NCAA tournament and beat Clemson, oh, yeah, Kadir Copeland, who played for Syracuse. And then when Will Wade got hired, I said, don't be shocked if that guy comes along with them, knows how to play in the ACC, about to be a senior, has a relationship with Will Wade. It makes perfect sense, and sure enough, it happened.
And I mean, especially, because he was a prospect that ended up in the ACC. Like, physically, he's an ACC player, 6'6".
100%.
Sometimes you look at some of the players that are really, really good at the mid-major level, and the reason why they're at the mid-major level is because they're an everything but, right? It's, oh, he's a great player, but he's 6 foot. Oh, he's a great player, but not great feet they're a little bit slow. Like, he has the physical tools. He was at Syracuse for 2 years. The other thing that's interesting is I said this about the NCAA tournament where because of Townsend, who was playing for Arizona, I believe, was also the same Townsend that played for Oakland. So watching Duke play against Arizona, I saw Trey Townsend, and I went, where do I know him? And it ended up being he played for Oakland in the second round the year before against NC State. It's the same guy. You know, I said, like, the NCAA tournament is becoming a 30-year high school reunion at a big high school where you're going like, I know you from somewhere. Where do I science class, sophomore year. So Georgia Tech had a transfer, Nate George. He went into the transfer portal. Some believed he was a target for NC State. He's also out of the portal. He's going to Syracuse. It is going to be so confusing. There's going to be people playing NC State going, where do I know Copeland? Syracuse 2 years ago. And then you're going to be watching Syracuse, and you're going to go, this point guard, this isn't the one. Georgia Tech last year. It's Nate George. Duke's going to play UNC. Where have I seen this 7-foot Estonian before? We played against them in Arizona twice last year. Like, it's everybody is moving and shaking. It's you know, the irony is people get so mad about the transfer portal. I don't get to know players. I don't get to. Well, you do. You just see them wearing different jerseys, right? If Georgia Tech beat you this past year and Nate George, the point guard, was the one that ripped your heart out, well, get him back at Syracuse next year. If McNeese was the team that upset you, or 2 years ago Syracuse got you, well, you'll get your chance to pay back Kadir Copeland. It'll just be at NC State. They're all around the same spot. And also, I do feel like I should address what some are mentioning on social media. And do you know what's funny, Dennis? We may not get to real bold predictions today because I want to address this. It's almost a social experiment. What did we talk about earlier this week? Everybody's talking about it, actually. Duke isn't as hateable anymore, right? That's what everybody wants to talk about. Oh, John Shire's not Coach K. They're not as hateable. The Cooper Flagg, for whatever reason, plays the game the right way, so he's not hateable. We've heard a bunch of reasons why. There is still, deep inside some of you, a little bit of Duke hate. You haven't extinguished the fire completely. Here's why. Dennis, what shirt am I wearing today?
You are wearing a Duke shirt.
There you go. I have a Duke shirt on, and I've heard about it all day. People walking through, the office have mentioned it. I've heard about it on social media, right? Because we are a video pod on YouTube, our live stream. Heard about it all day. People don't like that I'm wearing this shirt. Guess why I felt okay rooting for the local team today?
Why is that?
Because last year, on the Friday before the Final Four, guess what shirt I wore?
State shirt.
I wore an NC State shirt. And guess how much I heard about it last year?
A lot.
Not at all.
Oh, really?
No UNC fans were mad I was wearing it. No Duke fans were going, why are you talking about my team when you're wearing that shirt? Not a darn bit. I don't see a difference at all, right? NC State was going to the Final Four. I wore a State shirt. Why? Because my job becomes so much easier if local teams win. Right? I've been following these teams all year. If UNC was the only team playing in the Final Four, I'd be wearing a UNC shirt. If State was the only team playing in the Final Four, I'd be wearing a State shirt. Right? As soon as the other teams get eliminated, I do become someone that roots for a team. Up until they're eliminated, I'm rooting for all of them because, you know, professionally it's who we cover. So last year I wear the State shirt on the Friday before the Final Four, and everybody just kind of acknowledges like, oh, it's a Final Four run. Yeah, okay, you can wear that. You cover them professionally. Duke, same exact logic. Same exact logic. Except now people are nitpicking about it. The only difference is I think deep in your subconscious you hate Duke. Even though this year's team isn't as bad and, oh, John Shire doesn't throw his jacket when he's yelling at the refs as much as Shire. Yeah, you guys didn't extinguish it entirely. There's still something going on in there. And it's going to be amplified because, right, the day before the Final Four where I'm wearing the Duke shirt to support the local team, Henry Vasar of Arizona commits to UNC and Kadir Copeland of McNeese commits to NC State. So now we're going to have content out there for the other Triangle teams, and I'm going to be wearing the shirt. So, if somebody's giving me the business, pass this story along for me. If you want me to wear a UNC shirt, so far, by the way, and I'm very conscious of it because I do not want to be seen as biased in this market. I'm very conscious of it. There's only been 2 times that I've worn a college anything on air, and it's before the Final Four last year and before the Final Four this year. These are the only 2 days. I wear Cane stuff occasionally, because that's unifying of our listening area. I wear Durham Bulls stuff occasionally because I believe that's unifying of our area. I don't have any Panthers gear, but I probably should get some. I would feel okay wearing that.
You've worn your Delaware Blue Hen stuff.
I do wear my Delaware stuff.
Yeah, which perfect sense.
I don't care if I live in the center of they call it the main line in Pennsylvania, which is where Villanova is, which is one of our big rivals. I don't care if I live in Towson, Maryland. I'm wearing my Delaware stuff. I don't care about professionalism when it comes to Delaware. But with everything else, I am very, very I make sure to not favor any team, but I call it like I see it. Right? If I say one team is better than the other, it's because I think they are factually better than the other. But it is funny. It's almost like I feel like somebody at one of these universities should do an anthropological study on it, the study of people that UNC fans are going to give me the business for this Duke shirt. They did not give me the business for this NC State shirt that I wore the same day for the same reason last year. And I have gear for all of them, by the way. I just don't wear it like ever. It's just taking up space in the closet because I don't want to be seen as biased.
The only college stuff I have here for the state of North Carolina, Meredith College because I coached there, which is right here in Raleigh. But then Davidson, I have a Davidson sweatshirt because my girlfriend went to Davidson. That's it.
Man, I don't have any Davidson gear.
No one can be mad at me for having a Davidson hoodie, by the way.
I also do feel like
shout out to the Wildcats.
If it's Steph Curry era Davidson stuff, that's kind of unifying. If you didn't enjoy that run, I got nothing for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, unless you are a diehard rival of Davidson, I got nothing for you. That was just a good time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Quickly here, don't forget, celebrate Easter weekend at America's favorite car show. Text CAR, C-A-R, to 919-860-5326 to enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Good Guys 10th Griot's Garage at the NC State Fairgrounds, April 18th and 19th.
Because we didn't get it because of the breaking news with Kadira Copeland going to NC State, we can roll through some of the first goal scorer predictions.
Let's do it.
Here real fast. Like I mentioned, Matt Morrison has Jack Roslovic. This might be the real bold prediction of the day. Getting a hat trick today.
Mm-hmm.
First, second, and third goal for the Canes. That's what he said. First, second, and third. Also, Brandon said Jarvis in the first, which is a pretty popular one. The Paralyzed Coyote said, you know what?
The Paralyzed Coyote?
Hey, I didn't make up the names. The Paralyzed Coyote said, you know what? Justin Robidas, first career game, making the magic happen, first period.
That would be in line. It does feel like the Canes have just had crazy things happening recently.
Mm-hmm.
That would be in line. Like Robidas shows up in, first shift, just something crazy, just like upper bar down, something wild.
Also, Comebread said, I'm calling Aho from Blake and Jarvis on a 3-on-2 in the first tic-tac goal.
Aho from Blake and Jarvis?
Yeah.
Again, that's the way they've been playing. I feel like the odds would be high.
And Elton said Aho first period shorthanded. Because why not?
Because shorthanded. Wait, you know the rule. And if you're listening now, you have to answer this.
Yeah.
If you pick shorthanded, you have to pick who the penalty was on. Who's in the box. That's the rule if you pick shorthanded. And we implemented that rule like earlier this week.
Can't say Svetch because he's not playing.
I don't know. He can get creative.
That's true.
He's not even traveling with them. He's like from the internet somehow. By the way, everybody, starting Monday, it is back. Listen to 99.9 The Fan every afternoon during the drive, starting Monday, for your chance to see the Storm Surge in person. It is our annual 10K playoff payout. Try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Listen for the 10K playoff payout, and remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. We have the starting 5 coming up next. Bunch of news, bunch of games this weekend. There's a lot going on. Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
As they say in the classic movie Star Wars, John Shire, you're our only hope. At least that's what the ACC is saying. Duke, though, the way they played defense leading into the Final Four, look out, San Antonio. And if there's one town that appreciates basketball and defense more than San Antonio, I'd like to know. Oh, wait, maybe it's Durham, North Carolina.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. 'Cause I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here at Coastal Credit Union 99.9 The Fan, and we're here to celebrate yet another Scholar Athlete. This month, we're at Middle Creek High School, where we celebrate our newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Kristen Norton.
My parents have always been there for me, and then my teammates, they really helped me with like the mental part of it. So they really helped like bring me up when like I make mistakes or something and just keep me like grounded.
She's just a great person. She's a great leader by example and also vocally.
She's just that type of person. It doesn't matter what the situation is, anything that can help the team. She's a great young lady.
It's amazing to have on the team. She's a really good role model and a leader on the team.
She's always first to step in and try something new to help the team.
1, 2, 3, Mustang!
What does winning this award mean to you?
It just means that like all my hard work has like really shown. Some days I'm like, what have I done? Like, what have I accomplished? But getting this is like, people have actually seen my improvements and my accomplishments. So it's good. It's really good, yeah.
Congratulations, Kristen.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. A toastier afternoon. Tonight will be very warm as well. Partly to mostly cloudy skies, 69 the low. After a round of morning clouds again for your Saturday, sunshine in the afternoon, breezy and hot with a high at 90.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell down 2,231 points to 38,314.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. But first, starting Monday, it's back. Listen to 99.9 The Fan every afternoon during the Drive for your chance to see the Storm Surge in person. It's our annual 10K playoff payout. Try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Listen for the 10K playoff payout, and remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. Now it is time for the starting five, so let's go ahead and jump into number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Tar Heels the other way. Trimble in the left corner offensively. Gets into the paint, kicks it in the corner to Withers. Extra pass to an open Ian Jackson. Heels need it, and they get it for 3.
I was so excited to talk about this one, I almost jumped the gun. The portal. The transfer portal carousel is spinning, and it seems like there was a turn today where people started getting off the carousel kind of more aggressively. UNC received a commitment earlier today from Henry Vesar, 7-footer from Arizona, Estonian 7-footer. Again, I don't think he's the best center in the portal, or second best center in the portal according to 247 Sports. Top 20 player overall in the portal according to 247 Sports. He is going to, I mean, it's what centers become. Let me rewind all this back and say this in a way that makes more sense. Center, the 5-man in college basketball, in a lot of ways has become the offensive line. Does all the things that you don't realize you need until they're not doing them well. And they very rarely are the ones that get all of the hype and pub, but gosh, if you don't have a size rim protector, rebounder, you're going to be in trouble. And UNC learned that this year, right? It's not even like they didn't have good bigs. They had good bigs that just had skill sets that weren't the dirty work, right? Until Van Allen Lubin very late in the season, they didn't have like a true rebounder. Through the first, whatever it was, 10, 15 games of the season, and probably closer to halfway through the season, Seth Trimble was leading them in rebounds. He's 6'3", 6'4". Vesar will fix that if he plays a big role. They didn't really have a rim protector, right? Jalen Washington, Jalen Withers, they roam to the perimeter because they have the ability to do so, right? But now they have a guy that plants himself down low. So I think it's a really, really good transfer portal addition for UNC, and I don't think they're done. And if you pair him with Caleb Wilson, the 5-star power forward that UNC has committed, just played in the McDonald's All-American game, it's a really interesting kind of yin and yang in your front court where they're going to complement each other really well. The other news out of the portal, NC State just received a commitment from Kadir Copeland, who was at McNeese last year with Will Wade, the new head coach of NC State. Prior to that, spent 2 years at Syracuse. And it's already started, Dennis. It's already started. I tweeted this out. The news broke 27 minutes ago. About 22 minutes ago, I tweeted, if you would have told me that Copeland would play for NC State after he played for Syracuse against State in the NCAA tournament, the ACC tournament 2 years ago, I'd have told you that you were crazy. The amount of trash talk between Copeland and State was memorable. Shout out to at NCSU Pack 24 on Twitter. They responded with, I respect the fact that he went at it with us, and I'm sure he felt the same energy with us. Supposedly he was interested in us last year, but followed Wade. That's where somebody you like trash talks with you a bunch and says some mean things. I respect their competitive fire. Somebody you don't like trash talks with you and says some personal things.
Hate that guy.
Now that guy's a jerk. He took it too far, right? Soon as he's going to be going for you, soon as he's going to be scoring for you. Oh, you know what? That's just, everybody within the realm of competition says some things that might get a little out there. But for right now, I like it. Fans are awesome. They will be riding with Copeland because I think he's a good player and he's going to help them out a bunch. Another player that will raise the floor of NC State this season. Makes it more likely they make an NCAA tournament return, which is really what the fans care about, regardless of the history. And by the way, just basketball, taking the history out of it, 6'6" guard, can score, good defender. Yeah, who doesn't want that? That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
Up top, Cooper Flagg. He's been the story all season long. Goes to the deck, keeps the dribble alive. In on Sears, spins, goes up. Good night! Cooper Flagg takes the lead to 18 with just over 3 minutes to go.
Final Fours this weekend, everybody. Final Fours this weekend. And goodness gracious, Duke and Houston. What about that other game? What about Auburn versus Florida? I have to admit, this is one where it feels like Vegas knows something that we don't. and maybe that the ESPN matchup predictor doesn't know as well. ESPN, on their previews for games, something called the matchup predictor. It's algorithm-based, right? This is not experts making picks. This is numbers deciding the percentage that each team will win. They have Auburn as a almost 58% likely to win, 57.9%, which is significant. 7.9%. It's not like the matchup predictor is always, one team 90. Shades on either direction is a big deal. Yet, if you go to most sports books, Florida is between a 2.5 and 3.5 point favorite. When, I have friends that call it smelly. They call it stinker picks, which is when all logic and when most of common knowledge and when you pay a lot of attention and see a lot of reasons of why one team should win the game, should be favored to win the game, but then Vegas has the other team favored. You should smell that, right? It smells something. There's something not right here. Something smells fishy. What does Vegas know that we don't know? I don't know. I don't have that answer, right? Vegas is very smart and they keep their information very, very close. But I do know that I've watched both teams. I'm very impressed with both teams, by the way. This is not me saying one team is good and the other is bad. This is saying one team is very, very good and one team is very, very, very good. Auburn to me seems like the better squad, the more complete squad, the older squad, the more experienced squad. Yet for some reason Florida's favored by 2.5 to 3.5, depending where you're looking. Maybe that has something to do with John I. Broom's injury. He did finish the game, but he hurt his elbow in their Elite Eight game. He did finish the game, but obviously was kind of favoring it. Maybe that's it, and they know something we don't. I'm unaware. Or maybe they, like I, am just wildly impressed by Walter Clayton Jr. Clayton for Florida, he can shoot. He can shoot. And Dennis, what stadium do they play the Final Four in?
In an NFL stadium?
You're darn right. They played
the equivalent
in football.
of an NFL stadium?
They played in football stadiums. And I have this theory that there is a cutoff somewhere. Okay? Come with me on this walk, everybody. I don't think good shooters shoot well in a football stadium. I don't think bad shooters shoot well in a football stadium. I think only great shooters shoot well in a football stadium. Basketball players get used to the backdrop, right? There's fans nearby. There's a wall nearby. There's something that helps them with their depth perception. And you get messed up when you're in a room that's just bigger than you're used to playing in. And we see it time and time and time again, not to mention that it's weirdly elevated off the ground and it's different. The shooting backdrop is different than all the arenas you've been playing in. I do have a theory though that the great shooters, it doesn't matter. Obviously the examples of the Steph Currys of the world, they see nothing but the rim, right? They block everything else out and it doesn't matter. So if you decide that Clayton Jr. is that level, if he's a Redick, a Thompson, a Curry, a Jimmer, if you decide he's one of those dudes, I think that's one way that Florida can maybe, even though they're favored, kind of pull off the upset, if that makes any sense. It doesn't, but I think you're along with me for the ride. If he can knock down a bunch of threes, that's a difference maker there. Also, Auburn averages their starting lineup is 2 years older than the Hawks starting lineup. So if experience matters, you're leaning Auburn's way. That was number 4. Let's get to number 3. Let's go. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. And then we'll fight for Delaware. Fight for the blue and gold. One of the Delaware GOATs, greatest of all time. Man, I don't even want to limit her to Delaware. One of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time, announced her retirement today. Elena Della, two-time WNBA MVP, one of the best college basketball players of all time, a WNBA champion, announced her retirement today. Unfortunately, I don't think y'all are going to get to see how truly great Elena Della is and was, because because she dealt with injuries, back surgeries, had a whole bunch of medical stuff that held back her career. So if she's not injured, I genuinely think she's like Mount Rushmore women's basketball player of all time. If it's Taurasi, Leslie, if she doesn't get hurt, I think she's up there. She was at the University of Delaware at the same time I was. I interviewed her a bunch as a student reporter, so she is also a very nice person because I guarantee you, I went back and watched one of the interviews today. Horrendous questions, like just bad stumbling through it. A lot of talkabouts, which is like just a cardinal sin in sideline reporting, and she handled them excellently. So, and I had an awful goatee at the time, so not great. She didn't make fun of me on air, so way to go. Quick story here. So the women's basketball team at the University of Delaware, mostly due to Elena, but also due to all of the players that wanted to come play with Elena, was very good. Like, hosted the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, made it to, I believe, a Sweet 16. The UCLA girl, the 6'7" girl for UCLA, just had back-to-back 30 and 10 games, and I believe I saw on social media it's the first time that's happened for a women's basketball player in the NCAA tournament since Elena. Like, she was a beast. Because of that, the football team would actually play pickup with the women's basketball team occasionally. They would invite us, with the reason being they wanted to get used to, we're bigger, stronger, whatever you want to say, like we could give them a good run. I'll tell you how I used to defend Elena, right? Because I'm about her height. I was 6'4", she's 6'5", she's an inch or two taller than me. This is how I would defend her. Foul, got you on the arm. Darn, my bad. Your ball up top. Man, swiped it. Got you again. Foul, ball up top. Because I saw her tear dudes apart, and I wasn't about to let that happen to me. I'd guard her off ball, try to deny. Man, full front in the post, right? Try to keep the ball out of her hands. But if she got it on one of her spots, I saw too many of my buddies just get roasted. She's a really good player. That's basically what I'm getting at. Scored 54 in a game, averaged 30 in a season, lit it up. Here's the last story I'll tell, just to illustrate her greatness. And it's also, I don't know, it says something about how competitors can be wired differently. I once saw her make 90 straight free throws consecutively. I don't know if it hit the rim all 90 times. And I was telling Dennis this. The craziest part about it, she walked out of the gym, hadn't missed. If I ever made 90 straight free throws or any shot, any jump shot on a basketball court, you better believe I'm going to see how long that streak can go, right? You better, I'm going to, it might be a 200 streak. It might be a 1,000 streak. You don't know. She made 90 straight and just left on the heater. That's how good she was as a shooter, which, by the way, she led the country in free throw shooting like 4 straight years, men's and women's. That's how good of a shooter she was. A 90 straight free throw streak wasn't special to her. It wasn't like, let me go see how far this can go. That was like, yeah, that's what I do. I was going to shoot for 5 minutes, and 5 minutes is up, so I'm leaving. Absurd. She's a beast. Great career. Congrats on the retirement. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
There's a hockey game tonight. I don't know if everybody's aware. It's a hockey night in Carolina. And there's a hockey game tomorrow as well. It's also a hockey day in Carolina.
Both right here on the Fan.
Both on the road. Canes getting a little 4-game road trip here towards the end of their season. They are at Detroit tonight, at Boston tomorrow. Tonight's it's a weird game. You're gonna have Justin Robida getting his NHL debut, which is always cool. But Jordan Staal not expected to play. Andrei Svechnikov not even making the trip. So he'll be out for the next 4 games, kind of expected, unless he goes and meets them somewhere else.
I think they'll come back after Boston because there's a little break between going to Buffalo. Okay. So they'll probably come back after Boston. It's just a little 2-game
get on
trip.
the stop if he wants to.
Yeah.
Pyotr Kochetkov in net tonight. I think it's a big game for Pyotr Kochetkov.
Yes. Needs a bounce back.
Okay, yeah, you just said yes really emphatically. Why was that such a jump in?
Well, look at the last 3 games for Pyotr Kochetkov. You got your other goaltenders playing lights out. Mm-hmm. Pyotr struggles. He's been struggling quite a bit lately. I know they got a win in those last game, but he's been struggling a bit.
And yeah, I mean, a 6-4 win is different for a goalie.
Like 3 softies.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There has to be a point where if he doesn't figure it out, there's just not enough time to prove that he has figured it out. You know what I mean? It's not like he can go on a 7-game rough patch, have one good start near the end of the year, and then have full confidence of everybody going into the postseason. We're getting to the break-even point where it's like, all right, you better start putting together some good runs here, or else there's just not enough time for you to prove to us that you deserve a role in the postseason. And that's so hard for me to say because I've been advocating for Pyotr Kochetkov to have a role in the postseason. I like the rotation the way it was working, but if you look at the last 7 games that the team has played, there's enough of a difference between Freddie and Pyotr that you go, Freddie, it's your net, and if you can't do it, right, you get tired or whatever, then Pyotr can get an opportunity. But, if Pyotr doesn't put it together pretty darn soon, maybe starting now, it's going to be hard for anyone to make an argument that it's anything other than Freddie's net for the postseason, which is an unfortunate situation. Other than that, you want to see the power play keep cruising, right? It's picked up some steam here, and that's important. You don't want to see that wane.
5 straight games with a power play goal.
Yeah, and then there's 3 of them last game.
There's that too.
So not every game do you have to score multiples. It would be nice, don't get me wrong, but just keep playing well, keep buzzing. Taylor Hall, right? Aho, Jarvis, keep doing what you're doing. I want to see Jackson Blake, the rookie, continue to be aggressive and look for his own shot because, as I've been talking about, Levy may have broken on that one. He went on a long drought despite getting good looks, and now, he's starting to play a little bit better. What do you think, Dennis? And we've talked enough about the fights from Washington. If we need to again next Thursday, we'll talk about it. But for guys like Jost, for guys like Chatfield, for guys like Stankoven, what's this game like? Is it do you go in a little extra, I don't know, adrenaline? Do you go in with or does it not matter at all? Is it just completely flushed? What is it like for the guys that were in the mix?
I would assume it's it's business as usual. What happened in the last game happened. It's done. Mm-hmm. You're facing a different opponent. It's a different day. And honestly, you've moved on from it. You'll address it when you got to play them on Thursday next week, but you have 3 more games between now and then.
True. You have 3 more games.
I don't think it has much of a carryover, to be honest.
Perfect. That was definitely one of the available options. And then last question for you, because it's a bit
hit me,
bit unusual when a guy plays for like 7-8 teams. Is it or not a rivalry? Is tomorrow Boston a revenge game for Taylor Hall?
A revenge game for Taylor Hall?
Because he's played 6 years with Edmonton, 4 years with the Devils, 3 with Boston, 2 with Chicago, 1 with Buffalo, 1 with Arizona, and now he's, handful of games into his Carolina career.
I mean, he played against Boston for a couple times when he was
played
with
them
Chicago.
A bunch. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he's already played against them, so no, I'd say no.
Because there are certain players, like, no matter how many times you play them, that's still like, that team. Had a 60-plus point season with
won an
Boston.
MVP with them.
There you go. All right, let's move on. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go one! Sears out near midcourt, 10 to shoot. Turns down the screen, takes it himself, in on Knipple. Oh! Maluach! Sit that one to New York City!
Duke versus Houston tomorrow, Final 4. So earlier today, I illustrated what I think Duke has to choose between doing against Houston. And I didn't have the proper analogy, but I do now. So Duke's playing Houston. Houston is a team with an identity. They are arguably the best defensive team in the country. From a points scored against perspective, they are number 1. They allow the fewest points per game in the entire country. They want to slow you down. They are the 7th slowest team as far as fewest number of possessions per game in the country. So they want to slow you down. They want to make it ugly, and they want to win a rock fight. Duke has to choose whether they're so confident in their own versatility that they can look at Houston and say, you want to play a rock fight? Cool, I'm fantastic at rock fights. Let's go ahead and play that game and try to win a slow-paced, glacial game, which Duke has done a bunch this year, where they look at a team and say, how do you want to play? We'll beat you that way, right? What game do you want to play? The other way is looking at them, looking at Houston, and deciding where their strengths and weaknesses are and trying to force Houston to play to their weakness, which would be an up and down game with lots of transition, with quick shots and everything else. And by forcing them to do that, you're going to take them out of their comfort zone. And I couldn't think of, and it was the reason why is because I was thinking sports, but it was actually a sports movie, and it's actually a kids movie, Space Jam. Do you remember when Bugs Bunny and them are talking to the little aliens, and they go like, "Wait a second, you have to give us a chance to defend ourselves," and they get to pick something, and they look at him and go, "Well, they're small." This is my Daffy Duck impression. They're small, and they're not fast, and they're slow. Let's challenge them to basketball, right? They look at the things that they're really bad at and go, let's play them at something that you need to be the opposite of what they are, and then let's beat them.
Diminutive, aren't they?
There you go. I knew you were right there with me. And then, of course, the movie changes, so let's not talk about the rest of the movie. But that's what Duke can do. They can look at Houston and go, well, they're small, right? Because the average height of Houston's contributors is 6'4.3 inches, and the average height of Duke is almost 6'7.5". They can look at them and go, well, they don't really have guys that like to get out and score a bunch of points. They don't really have guys that like to fill it up. So we could challenge them to an up-and-down, high-tempo game. That's one of their options, and that's the chess game that they have to play. Do you want to run? Do you want to blitz everything? Do you want to pressure full court? Do you want to try to trap, right? There are tricks to make Houston speed up. With the concern there would be you'd be doing something that you're not used to doing, which is forcing tempo, because Duke has been such a chameleon this year. They do the baller thing of you tell me what you want to do and then we'll play that. That's what you do to your little friend, right? It's like, all right, let's decide who's your little brother, little sister, right? You can't beat me. All right, well, what do you want to play? Well, you tell me anything. I'll beat you at anything. That's what Duke does to a lot of teams. They little brother them. You tell me what style of game we're going to play. Cooper Flagg will be able to handle it. You want to go big? We'll put Cooper Flagg at the 3. You want to go small? We'll put Cooper Flagg at the 4, at the 5. You want to shoot a bunch? Tyrese Proctor. You want to get out and run? We'll bring in Isaiah Evans. That guy can take a shot in the first 2 minutes of a shot clock. Like they've 2 seconds of a shot clock. They've got a whole bunch of different options to run, and I'm fascinated to see how they choose to attack. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and it'll be fun to watch for sure. Before we move on, speaking of brackets, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. It is time to choose the second finalist in our watch bracket. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. We've been running a watch bracket for the last few weeks here, and we are down to the last 4 watches remaining. All of the watches, by the way, available at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Go ahead and check them out. The Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, which is inside the Village District location of Bailey's Fine Jewelry, has all of these iconic watches that we've been mentioning throughout the run. And we have a heavy hitter here. Rolex Daytona against the Omega Constellation. First of all, Rolex Daytona, you're talking Paul Newman, you're talking John Mayer, you're talking the rainbow bezel, you're talking all of these different versions of one of the most iconic models of Rolex. That right there sets you up for variety while also classic, some of the most expensive ever sold in the pre-owned and vintage market, some of the freshest looks that Rolex puts out are all within the Daytona umbrella. The Omega Constellation sometimes maybe gets slightly lost in the shuffle in the Omega line because you have the Moon Watch, because you have the Seamaster, right? The Moon Watch being the Speedmaster that gets worn on the moon by NASA, the Seamaster and all the famous spy movies. But the Constellation brings a little bit extra class, a little bit extra dress, and that sophistication is what's brought it into our final contest here. But with that being said, the Rolex Daytona, I don't know. It's going to be tough to beat, although it is rolling into the final matchup against the 50 Fathoms from Blancpain. So there's our finalists, everybody. 16-team bracket. It's all come down to this. We will settle it on Monday, just like the big dance. 50 Fathoms versus Daytona. Goodness gracious. What a matchup. Again, Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Let them know when you're there to check out all these watches that you heard about it right here on 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants. We have tickets to see Disturbed with Daughtry and Nothing More at the Lenovo Center on April 14th. If you want to play the numbers game, if you want to win the tickets, you have to call in now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Hey, I know Cooper Flagg didn't win all of the awards. He won the 2 major ones. He got Player of the Year. He got Rookie of the Year. Neither were unanimous, which blows my mind. But he should have won Defensive Player of the Year as well. And John Shire was the Coach of the Year. Yes, I know Duke has all these great players. They were 19-1. They were 28-3. Historical point differential. Come on.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's no time like Bojangler time. Time to stop whatever you're doing and head over to Bojangles to try the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. You heard right, the Bojangler Fish Fillet Sandwich. A perfectly seasoned, light, flaky, wild-caught Alaskan pollock fish fillet sandwich. For limited time at participating Bojangles. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
An indication that there is a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area, get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wake County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have tickets going to the winner. Tickets to see Disturbed with Daughtry and Nothing More at the Lenovo Center on April 14th. Is Nothing More a different band? Or is it like Daughtry and Nothing More?
Yes.
Because
I say that with zero confidence.
Because Nothing More as a band name is kind of hilarious for that reason. Like Daughtry and Nothing More means that there's another band is kind of hilarious. That you should think about that when you're naming your bands, people. Like what you sound like in a card. But either way, the contestants for today are Tom and Clayton and John and Gardner. They will be competing for the tickets. And as always, we ask a question. They decide, or they give us an answer. Dennis decides his favorite answer. And that person gets to go first. Tom and Clayton, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right. The question for today, as it is most Fridays, is what is the highlight of your upcoming weekend? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related. So what's the sports highlight of your upcoming weekend?
Watching the Final Four.
Emphasis. I like the definitive nature. Stay on the line. We'll see if you get to go first. John and Gardner, same question to you. What is the sports highlight of your upcoming weekend?
Watching the Canes play tonight at 7.
Canes. All right, Dennis. This might be the hardest.
Gosh,
because they're both so simple and forthright, and
they both involve local.
Yep, both local. Both are, I think, pretty big games. Which one are you going with?
I'm going to go Final Four just because, I mean, this is the
as soon as
biggest
I said both
stage.
are pretty big games,
I was like,
well,
yeah,
one of
Canes will
them's
play
bigger.
again next week. No, we're down to 3 college basketball games left this year on the men's side of things. And on the women as well, 3 each. That's it.
Why you got to put it like that?
'Cause
I'm
it's just
excited.
what
It's
it
a fun
is.
weekend, and you're like, yeah, well, it's going to be over soon.
And it's going to be an awesome weekend. I'm going to go Final Four on this one.
All right, Final Four.
With Tom and
so
Clayton.
Tom and Clayton goes first. John and Gardner, just wait a couple seconds. You'll still have your chance. Tom and Clayton, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right. You don't have to call me sir, but I like the enthusiasm. The categories are NFL players with early April birthdays that were Pro Bowlers. We have NFL players that have thrown a touchdown but are not quarterbacks, not listed as quarterbacks. NBA players that are active with multiple 50-point games, or NHL players, Hurricanes. They have to be Hurricanes.
NFL April birthdays.
All right, April Pro Bowlers. April birthdays, Pro Bowlers is the category.
And Pro Bowlers.
I will give you the player and the team. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. CeeDee Lamb, Dallas Cowboys.
88.
Correct. Roquan Smith, Baltimore Ravens.
2.
Incorrect. Ricky Waters, Philadelphia Eagles.
30.
Incorrect. Roquan Smith, Baltimore Ravens.
Pass.
Tony Dorsett, Dallas Cowboys.
33.
Correct. Mark Bulger, St. Louis Rams.
12.
Incorrect. Ricky Waters, Philadelphia Eagles.
32.
Correct. Roquan Smith, Baltimore Ravens.
0.
Correct. Mark Bulger, St. Louis Rams.
14.
I feel good because 14 wasn't right, and I would have felt really bad if you were just a split second off the buzzer for a perfect score. You did get 4, though. You did get 4. That is a very solid score. You got CD. You got Roquan Smith with 0. We would have also accepted 18 for those of you playing at home. Ricky Waters, 32. Tony Dorsett, 33. Bulger, we were looking for 10. So you were in the right vicinity, just not quite there.
Right.
4 out of 5, though. Solid answer. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to John and Gardner. John, are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that tossed a touchdown but were not quarterbacks. NBA players active with multiple 50-point games. That's 5-0, multiple 50-point games. Or NHL players, Hurricanes only.
Hurricanes only, please.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. I will say the team, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it, but you do need all 5 to get the win. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jordan Martin of Carolina Hurricanes.
48.
Correct. Frederick Anderson, Carolina Hurricanes.
31.
Correct. Greg McKegg, Carolina Hurricanes.
18.
Incorrect. Brett Pesce, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
Correct. Mark Recchi, Carolina Hurricanes.
16.
What was that?
16.
Incorrect. Greg McKegg, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Mark Recchi, Carolina Hurricanes.
33.
Incorrect. You said 18 for the wrong guy. You said 18 for McKegg. We needed 18 for Recchi. For McKegg, we needed number 42. Normally, 3's got a pretty good chance of winning. Unfortunately for today, not your day. But hopefully you had some fun.
Oh, yeah. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. That means Tom and Clayton, you are the winner.
Awesome.
You get to see Disturbed with Daughtry and Nothing More at the Lenovo Center on April 14th. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you to make sure you get those tickets.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I should have had a better question to start it for Friday. I apologize, Dennis. When it's, what's the sports highlight of your weekend and there's two very obvious things, it kind of makes it difficult to choose.
But great answers, though.
No, they're the right answers, which is the issue, right? Like both right. You gotta pick. Speaking of, it is a hockey night in Carolina. I'd like to remind everybody. So you can hear the game right here. Canes, Detroit. It's a road game. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. Adam Gold with Stormwatch leading up to, as always. And tomorrow they play at Boston. Same deal. You can always hear the games right here on 99.9 The Fan. We take pride in all that. If you're just tuning in, there has been some – I'm going to just update all my transfer portal stuff here very quickly to make sure we don't miss anything. There has been some transfer portal news today. UNC, Henry Vasar, 7-footer, an Arizona transfer, has committed to UNC. I think that's a big get for Hubert and the crew. Basically, the moment Vasar went into the transfer portal, you saw an overwhelming kind of, I hope this is who we want from UNC faithful. So, at a time where it felt like they needed something good to happen, this is a big one. And NC State got Kadir Copeland out of the transfer portal. He comes from McNeese State, did spend 2 years at Syracuse prior to McNeese State, but at McNeese obviously played for Will Wade. So, once he hit the portal yesterday, we kind of started the countdown towards when he committed to NC State, but that happened just about, hour and a half ago, hour and change ago. Copeland is going to McNeese State, and I think it's going to be fascinating to see how the fan base reacts, because Copeland at Syracuse was a very aggressive trash talker towards NC State. At Chet NCSU on Twitter says, because I was like, it's going to be funny, right? He's a trash talker towards State 2 years ago. Chet said, I hated that guy, but now he's part of the pack. League needs more villain types. It used to be fun. It is. We're watching the fan base in real time do like contortions to find like, well, yeah, I said he was a jerk, but we need more jerks. Like
he was a jerk then, but he's not now.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's as a sophomore, that's a jerk. As a senior, he's playing mind games.
Yes,
like we're watching it happen. It's kind of awesome.
You watch a player on another team, like, gosh, I hate that guy, but when he's on your team, I love that dude. Well, everyone else can hate him. We love that's our guy.
That is an archetype, and he is
like
kind of that
sports.
dude. Yeah, the I hate him on other teams. I'd love him if he was on our team.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Draymond Greens, right?
It's the Brad Marchands.
It's the Brad Marchands. Based on the last couple of days, it's Tom Wilson.
Well, he's always been that.
I know, but Washington fans ride for that guy aggressively.
100%.
And I'm going like, it's right there. We can show you the film. And they're like, I refuse to admit. It's like they just ride for him. Maybe Copeland's that dude, right? When he's on Syracuse, you hate him. Orange, ugh. Red, love that guy. That's just kind of how it plays. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and we're going to see because he did commit to NC State today. Before we move on, we have to make our picks. Dennis has some info he'd like to pass around.
Folks, final reminder. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Final reminder. You got to go to caniacsbike.com to enter for your chance to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. This is your final reminder, folks, because the deadline is this Sunday, April 6th. Don't wait any longer. Go to caniacsbike.com. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Hey, you need to go to caniacsbike.com. You need to register to win this custom-built motorcycle that the Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, and the Carolina Hurricanes are teaming up to give one lucky fan to. Go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike. It's gorgeous. I've seen it in person multiple times. I was like, can I test ride this thing? It's absolutely gorgeous looking bike. white wall tires, Cane's logos and colors all across the bike, decals on it. Phenomenal motorcycle. It can be yours. You just got to go to caniacsbike.com. Do not wait any longer. If you had second thoughts, no. Get the second thoughts out of your mind. Go to caniacsbike.com, register, enter to win. Deadline is April 6th. Bike will be given away on the ice at the last home game of the year. That could be you walking on the ice, handed the keys to a custom Caniacs motorcycle. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will make our picks for the weekend. Coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made, rebound, game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Total Wireless is made to totally keep up with you. We have unlimited data that never slows you down, covered by the Verizon 5G network, and all for less than $30 a month when you get 4 lines. And the best part, we give you a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G when you switch to the 5G Unlimited or 5G Plus Unlimited plan. Visit your local Total Wireless store today. Total Wireless, we're totally with you. Actual speeds may vary by location. For data management practices, see TotalWireless.com.
Joint pain in your knees, shoulders, or lower back. It can stop you in your tracks. At DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, we offer a revolutionary course of treatment that can eliminate your joint pain and have you back to your old self in no time. Our regenerative therapies actually help repair damaged tissue to eliminate the pain without risky, invasive surgery. If you suffer with joint pain and have been told your only options are medications, steroid injections, or surgery, DaVita Med Spa and Wellness offers non-surgical solutions using your body's own cells with minimal downtime and long-lasting results. Experience personalized, compassionate medical care at its best. Call our office now and see how you can get real, long-lasting relief from joint pain through regenerative medicine and the medical experts at DaVita Med Spa and Wellness, spelled D-V-I-D-A. Call 984-333-1313. That's 984-333-1313. 984-333-1313.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all 4 brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence, drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC on NC 87 South in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. It's hockey season, baby. I live and work on both coasts, and here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and $6 Jamesons on Sunday. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Lufthansa is excited to take off from Raleigh Durham International Airport, connecting you to destinations like Germany, Italy, India, and beyond. Say yes to incredible journeys. Book today at Lufthansa.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Starting Monday, everybody, it is back. The next time you hear us on Monday, you may have your chance. Listen to 99.9 The Fan every afternoon, starting Monday, for your chance to see the Storm Surge in person. It's our annual 10K playoff payout. The 10K playoff payout. I feel like I have to use my movie trailer voice. In a world where the 10K playoff payout. Try your luck at playoff tickets by finding the golden puck and take your ultimate slap shot at $10,000. Listen for the 10K playoff payout, and remember, with Ford F-150 on your team, it's game on. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. Also, we have to make our picks, and we're going to do so quickly. For those of you that pay attention to this sort of thing, Alexander Nikishin, some call him the best defenseman not in the NHL. He is a Canes prospect playing over in the KHL in Russia. There's been some reports that that whenever his season ends in the KHL, there's already an agreement in place to get him over here playing for the Canes as soon as possible. They played today, and his team won, which means they have at least one more game. They're in the playoffs. If they lose, if they lose, then he could be over here very soon. But at least one more game, they're going to stay because they won today.
So generally, KHL, I think their contracts usually run until the end of May. But teams that know that a player has an NHL deal ahead of them, their contract's about to expire. Once the season's over, they'll release them from that contract and allow them to go compete.
Yep, and some reports are out there that agreement is kind of already in place and just needs to be executed once they lose, but they won today, so their season's still going. That's just a little update for you. Now let's go ahead and make our picks. Dennis, what games are we picking today?
All right, so let's go ahead and start with, let's go tonight, what we're going to get right here on 99.9 The Fan. Let's go with the Carolina Hurricanes at the Detroit Red Wings. That's a 7 o'clock puck drop. Canes are favored in this one according to the old betting lines.
First of all, they got some things to play for, right?
Absolutely.
They're going to be desperate and caged animal-like.
They are, I think, 4 points out of a wild card spot. So trying to chase down, I know Columbus and Montreal, a couple other teams are ahead of them. So they're in striking distance.
And Pyotr Kochetkov is in net, so part of this is aspirational. Canes win 3-1.
3-1, okay.
I think it's a little low scoring, but Pyotr steps up, baby. Maybe it's 2-1 even into the third, and then Canes get a power play goal to give themselves a little cushion.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking for. Although a lot of conventional wisdom would say it'll be a bit higher scoring than that. I'm going against the grain. Give me the low scoring win for the Canes because Pyotr is back on track.
Okay.
Dennis, what are you going with?
I'm also going to go Canes on this one. I think it's a little bit more high scoring.
Yeah, I think that's where most people would play.
I know. I'm going to go a little bit more high scoring in this one. I'm going to go 4-3 Canes.
4-3. 4-3 or 5-3, something like that is probably where the smart money is, but nobody ever accused me of being smart.
Okay, let's actually go women's Final Four. Actually, the semifinals are today. Women's Final Four, talk about a lot of chalk. 3 1 seeds and a 2 seed. The 2 seed being UConn. It's like, oh, okay, it's UConn. First semifinal game, Texas, South Carolina, matchup of 1 seeds. 2 SEC teams, by the way.
I don't know a ton about Texas. I don't know too much about South Carolina, but I know South Carolina's last 5 years has been pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, they've been pretty freaking awesome.
Dawn Staley's got something cooking. So give me South Carolina based on the experience factor.
South Carolina 5.5 point favorites in that one. In the other game, UConn as the 2 seed taking on a 1 seed in UCLA. UConn 7.5 point favorites in this one.
Give me UConn because they have Sarah Strong from Fuquay-Varina on there.
Let's go.
16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists this year. She was the number 1 recruit in the country.
Yeah, she's a freshman.
Her dad played basketball at NC State. Her mom played basketball at Harvard. So there you go. 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year here in the state of North Carolina. Sarah Strong is the star. Not Paige Becker's who? It's Sarah Strong. UConn wins. I don't know. You can pick the final score. I don't know enough about either team.
I mean, UConn versus South Carolina is like a dream matchup in women's college basketball right now.
Yep. And that's what I'm here for. So, yeah, make it happen, Captain.
All right, let's go to the men's Final Four tomorrow in San Antonio. Florida taking on Auburn. Florida, the SEC champ. Auburn, the number 1 overall seed. Both 1 seeds. Florida, 2.5-point favorites in this one. This is game 1 of 2 tomorrow.
This is one where I'm going against my logic again. I have a lot of reasons that seem to make Auburn the team that I would pick. But then Vegas has Florida 2.5-point favorites, 3.5-point favorites, depending where you look. So Vegas knows something I don't, and they're smarter than me. So I'm gonna close my nose and pick Florida. Walter Clayton, big game.
I had Florida as the runner-up in this year's tournament.
My Final Four in my bracket is Duke and Auburn. So
mine is Duke versus Florida. So I'm going to take Florida in this one. Well, let's go ahead and get to your next one then. Houston versus Duke. I'm sure you've already, let the cat out of the bag on this one. By the way, Duke 5.5-point favorites against Houston.
I'm surprised the number is that high. I would entertain Houston on the money or on the spread, but Duke. There's no reason for me to think Duke won't win. That's not to say Houston can't win. It's just I've seen this Duke team all year. It rarely happens this way. And you can go find it on our YouTube. You can find it in our podcast. Before the season, I went and watched film of all the recruits and the transfers. And I was like, if they put this together, they're going to win the national championship, right? I knew that all of the parts were very, very good. They were just going to have to assemble. And it's come together exactly as you imagined it. It's like they're all playing the exact roles that they seem born to play. So, again, can 20-year-olds wake up and have a bad day? Absolutely. Is it 100% that Duke's going to win? No. But Duke's A game is better than Houston's A game. To be completely honest, Duke's B game might be better than Houston's A game. So in order for Houston to win, it might have to be like a B-, C+ Duke against the best version of of Houston. So I think Duke wins. Where are you at?
I think Duke wins this one. I think they're actually going to make it much more high scoring than Houston wants it to be. I think it's going to be more of like Duke 75, Houston 63. I think, which is, again, way more than what Houston is comfortable giving up. The average, I think it was just over 58 points a game allowed on defensively.
58.23, something like that.
So if Duke's scoring 73, might as well be like 150.
Duke's fourth in the country in points allowed at like 62.
Yes.
So their defenses are both good.
All right, final one here. We have about 40 seconds left.
All right, I'll do it quick.
All right. The Panthers are 1-0. That's right. The football team known as the Panthers in the UFL. They take on the Stallions.
Where are the Panthers from? Michigan?
Yeah. They're 1-point favorites in this one against the Stallions.
Well, then they're going to cover easily. They're going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Exactly.
Michigan Panthers. Someone's on that team that's going to play well, and that person's going to play well enough to win.
Bingo.
That's going to do it for us here on The Drive on a Friday. Should be a really fun weekend of sports. Enjoy it, everybody. We'll break it down on Monday. Overdrive is coming up next. I believe we're talking Duke first, so enjoy that. We'll see you on Monday. Subscribe to our YouTube.
We're in the middle of the madness.
It came to Maluach to throw it down.
From the first 4 to the national championship.
Good night. Cooper Flag takes the lead to 18.
All the hoops action will be heard here.
For the Blue Devils, the Final Four is calling yet again.
The road to San Antonio is driven by Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, Fairway Green, and First Horizon Bank. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny